Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Will Bowling. Free agent guard Kevin Zeitler is signing a one-year, $9 million deal with the Tennessee Titans. Zeitler joined the Detroit Lions as an unrestricted free agent on a one-year deal last offseason after experiencing a Pro Bowl season with the Baltimore Ravens in 2023 as the Titans continue to bolster their offensive line in 2025. They also added pass rush help yesterday as the Titans add Seahawks edge Draymond Jones to a one-year, $10 million deal, according to Adam Schefter. Jones had 4 sacks last season and a career-high 6.5 sacks with the Denver Broncos in 2022. The Titans also made a trade yesterday, sending Kenneth Murray in a 7th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. The 26-year-old Murray had a career-high 3.5 sacks last season, in addition to 95 tackles. Free agent quarterback Mac Jones agreed to a 2-year, $7 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers yesterday. Jones completed 65% of his passes for 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, along with 8 interceptions last year as a Jacksonville Jaguar. The Jags were 2-5 in his starts, averaging just 15 points per game. And in hoops last night, Mississippi State rolls LSU 91-62, setting up a matchup with Missouri tonight. And Oklahoma takes a massive step toward an NCAA tournament berth with an 81-75 win over Georgia. They'll get Kentucky late tonight. The day begins in Bridgestone Arena today with Arkansas Ole Miss at noon, followed by Texas A&M and Texas at approximately 2:30. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee kicks off your Friday Junior. On 104.5 The Zone. Locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. Crew's all here. Number 615-737-1045. You have avoided the Mac Jones experience, and you are going to experience much better line play next season, perhaps on both sides of the ball. Good morning.
Yes,
how are we doing?
Yes. Well, good. Good morning, man.
More late night news.
Yeah, definitely. It was good. Official day of the NFL business started yesterday. Good time to let the NFL just continually stamp their mark in sports media day to day, month to month, every year, man. Shout out to the NFL.
Specials every day here this week on ESPN or NFL Network, wherever you get your TV fix in terms of it, but hopefully you're listening to the radio.
They got specials?
No more around the horn. I don't care.
I don't think that's canceled till May 23rd,
No,
right?
I know.
May 23rd. I thought when you get canceled, it's immediate, but I didn't know it was a timeline on it like that.
They gave him some respect.
They should. They should let them do it. I mean, NBA and NFL players get to do their little farewell tours and stuff like that. But, man, who would ever thought, man? The Titans lose a big-time offensive lineman yesterday, and Sadiq Charles end up getting a better one.
I like that. See what you did there.
Sadiq Charles unretired and got cut. Got cut so that Kevin Zeitler could get signed, man. Y'all should thank him right now, is what I'm telling you.
We were mad, and then it turned into thank you.
I wasn't even mad at Sadiq Charles. I thought about his situation yesterday after work. I'll be honest with y'all, man. I was thinking to myself, like, at what point do you retire from the thing that you love, okay? Not even take a year off and come back and say, hey, y'all, you miss me? The answer is no. No, we don't miss you, man. I was doing a little workout yesterday.
I still could have used him, I feel like.
And I was just thinking to myself, like, this sucks. Working out sucks, man. Like, and to train hard for football, like, Kayla, the amount of weight.
But he came out of retirement.
The amount of weight, that's what I'm saying. Like, the amount of weights that you got to do, the commitment to training, the mindset to stay in football is just, it beats you. It does. I ain't gonna lie to you. So for a person to retire and then say, never mind, y'all, I was just playing. All right.
That's wild.
I'm going to be real with you. I wouldn't want him as a teammate. It's just where I was standing right there. Like, if you're out, then you're out. There's so many guys that would love that opportunity, and you don't get that. Like, no. So I wouldn't want him as a teammate.
Are you relieved seeing Mac Jones land with the San Francisco 49ers yesterday?
I'm indifferent about Mac, man. Am I relieved? I think you get better answers knowing that, look, they're not going after a guy like him. We had the conversation yesterday as it pertains to if you bring in Mac Jones plus a young guy,
but
Cam
he's a
Ward.
backup there.
I mean, look who he's behind there. That's the difference. So that was my point. No. There is a difference
Still
right there,
backup.
Caleb. No, Caleb, there's a difference. If he'd have come here, he'd have been labeled as a starter and waiting for the most part.
I just thought he should have competed for the job if he came here. I mean, let him compete, let him push Cam. That's how I looked at it.
So all right. What I'm doing is not dissing Cam by saying this. What I'm doing is looking at the economics and how the flow of NFL rosters go. He's a young guy who's in a position to be in a spot to where he's got years in the league, and the opportunity for him to honestly start to mess up is the way I looked at Mac Jones had he come here in Nashville, right? He would have got probably the first stab at starting to mess up. If he messed up because of look at the salary that he got, then he'd be easy to bench. That's the way I viewed if Mac Jones had come here because of his years in the league.
Yeah, I just look at he's a backup right now, and he would have just come here to push Cam. And if he was the backup, he's the backup. If he starts, he starts.
No, and look,
he's going to the Niners, and he's clearly the backup.
That can all be true too. But if he had come here to Tennessee with Will Levis in place, right? You got to look at Mac Jones going into year 5 in the NFL. If that was the case, my point was this: if he comes into Tennessee in front of Will Levis, he would be, specifically because of pay, and also he'd have probably been in front of Cam if they draft Cam because he was here first. Now, when training camp starts and the season opens up, I did expect Mac Jones to be the opening day starter with what we spoke about essentially anyway. Mm-hmm. That's the way I viewed a guy like Mac Jones. He would have a head start on the playbook, the first team reps, and just the idea of him being a veteran at this point right now. You look at Mac Jones and say to yourself, if we get a Sam Darnold year out of him, even better, right? But you're still not fully committed to a guy like him.
Yeah, I see your point.
The bigger picture would be, especially if you pick a number one, Cam is the guy, right? If they draft Cam Ward at number one, he would be the guy. The point that you're making as far as him being the backup to Brock Purdy, that's obvious. Brock Purdy's about to get $250 million minimum. Yeah. So he's going to be a backup. Still.
I mean, I think he had to accept it wherever he went that he might not be the starter. That's all I'm saying. Because there's nothing that proves that he could have been a starter.
Here, I feel like he'd have got the first stab at being the starter. Heck, he was the starter at the end of the season. I get it, Kayla.
I get yours too, man. We can both have our points. We
have to be very objective on how we describe on the situation that hasn't happened. Like me being in the business, I would tell you this: he would be in a spot.
The business for 20 plus years. I get it,
Kayla.
We can both have our opinions.
I hope they draft Cam Ward here. I really do.
This is not about Cam Ward. This is just about what I thought Mac Jones would be if he came here. I don't know what you're arguing, though. I'm really confused.
The point I'm arguing, I'm not even arguing. The point I'm stating is this. Mac Jones would have probably been the first stab at it as far as a starter here.
As your opinion.
Ultimately,
I understand that.
Having the number one overall pick, it would have been Cam's regardless, is what I'm saying. It wouldn't have been a threat to anybody here if Mac Jones had started, even the entire year. The same way that we're seeing right now, it wasn't a threat to the Minnesota Vikings that Sam Darnold started the entire year because at the end of the day, they're going to J.J. McCarthy. And I would have thought the same exact thing as far as if it was a Cam Ward situation here,
all I'm saying is they need quarterbacks in that room, and I would have been fine if Mac Jones came here and pushed Cam Ward or pushed Will Levis because I'd rather not have a guy like Carson Wentz. Like, that to me is off the books in any capacity. So that's why I said if he was available and he was willing to come here, bring him in. Obviously, he's not. He's going to the 49ers and he's being backup. That's just how I'm not trying to make this like complicated. That's just my thought, my opinion.
But the thing is, where he goes, depending upon how much he pays in front of like being behind Brock Purdy, that automatically labels him as a backup. Here in Nashville, that would have been an opening opportunity for him to be quarterback one going into the season. That's how I truly feel because you don't put out Will Levis anymore.
It feels like he was maybe the only quarterback left that could have given Cam Ward a full redshirt year. That's kind of how I feel about it, right?
Yeah, and that's fine.
Because if you're not in the Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson market, if that ship has sailed, which I do believe it has, I don't think the Titans were ever seriously interested in either of those two guys. We're learning that Russell Wilson's going to visit the Browns and the Giants. So if the other quarterback options available to you are now Him, but was so no longer. Joe Flacco, Mason Rudolph, and Tyler Huntley? Those are the only other quarterbacks left in PFF's top 100 remaining free agents. Out of all those guys, I don't know if there's anyone who could be a total redshirt year guy for Cam Ward, which is what I would love, is that Cam could go full Steve McNair in this thing. We're going to pick you that early. But because that's a pretty good comp for Cam Ward, honestly, skill set wise, is Steve McNair coming out of Alcorn State, and let's sit you for a full year. We'll talk in 2026. I don't see that happening anymore because I don't think you could give Carson Wentz all of 2025.
No, I don't think so.
I don't want Carson Wentz here, regardless.
I don't think he's a bad backup. Like I don't know why you're so opposed to him as just a backup quarterback.
I'm just not. He hasn't. I mean, okay, so you're just assuming. So. Okay, you're saying bring him in here as a backup. Who's your starter? We don't know if they're drafting
probably
Cam
Cam
yet.
Ward, honestly.
I don't even know if that's true yet. I mean, I feel like now there's some parts to people that they're worried that Will Levis could be staying here. They're not going to pick. I mean, I now am feeling like there could be an opportunity for them to trade down still, get Abdul Carter. Going back to that, I feel like they're not showing their full cards at all.
Even if it's to back up Will Levis, I don't think Carson Wentz is being brought here to start for the Tennessee Titans.
No, not to start.
That's all I'm saying is that I'm open to him as a backup, because if you're bringing him here, he ain't coming here to start.
I'd honestly rather have Mason Rudolph than Carson Wentz, to tell you the truth, as a backup.
Mason got reached out by Pittsburgh, and it's serious.
I did see that.
They
got to see who their starter is.
They're scrambling right now to figure out who's going to be their quarterback. I got a feeling Aaron Rodgers' pay is way too much. And how
does he feel about darkness retreats?
Oh, my gosh.
I guess he's taken like a few weeks to think about it.
All weekend that doesn't happen.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We haven't asked you about that yet. If from the Steelers' perspective, how you'd feel about Rodgers?
No, absolutely not. I'd much rather them go ahead and suck, pick in the top 10 and figure out somebody next year. Like, that's the way I feel about them. If you're going to get Aaron Rodgers, even with that team set up the way it is in Pittsburgh, no. He's been his last years in Green Bay. I met a fan this weekend of the Packers. We was at the Brewers training camp or whatever, and he was just like, yeah, I was glad to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, wow. Yeah, that's pretty much what Dude said to me at the concession stand.
Got the audio.
Yeah, he did. And not just that, man. Like I said, the way I felt about him is the same way I would have felt about Aaron Rodgers if he was here, too. Like, that's not a part of, like, a succession plan to truly get you over the top.
Yeah.
He's done nothing with everything that he was given in New York, and I just don't see that being the case in Pittsburgh, too. If that was the case, they'd probably be below 500 for the first time Mike Tomlin finally gets fired, and a lot of fans are probably excited about it.
Wow.
So why are they opposed to then bringing Russell back? I don't understand. Like, I understand this Rodgers fascination and all the news that's being put out here, but, like, why wouldn't you just bring Russell Wilson back at this point?
I mean, the amount of sacks he takes, the flow of the offense, his risks that he will and won't take at times. And just, you got to also figure out if that's what Arthur Smith wants in the quarterback. I don't think Russell Wilson is an Arthur Smith-style quarterback, if I can be completely honest with you. From my understanding, his preference was Justin Fields.
Yeah, it seems like they overplayed their hand with Justin Fields a little bit as soon as they started going down the Rodgers road, and Justin was like, well, I don't need to wait for y'all. I got options.
Yeah.
I can go get it paid somewhere else.
I think he took that Jets job as a screw you to Pittsburgh at that point.
Because all these guys are being sold like, well, hey, you can go somewhere else and be the next Sam Darnold.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I imagine that's what agents are telling all these guys right now.
I'd heard something very close to the sun that Arthur was very much into Justin Fields.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. That was 100.
Arthur got to be feeling bad today.
So when you look at Russ' situation, like he can hit you with the moon ball, but then he'll lay down, take a sack, throw sideways, run out of bounds and stuff like that. Like I like the Seattle version of him when he had to be Lil Bro. When you put him in the driver's seat, it was good enough.
You want to ride.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to ride. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to move him over and say, man, let me drive this car.
Well, two tough options then.
Browns Nation, let's Brown. I don't know. The situation with him visiting there. 615-737-1045. Titans fixing their O-line. How good can it be with Kevin Zeitler now in the interior? We'll break down the new signings coming up next. Thursday morning at RKW 104.5 The Zone. We are brewed up by Scooters Coffee. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. 615-737-1045 is the number. Kevin Zeitler, free agent guard, signs a one-year, $9 million deal with the Tennessee Titans. Joined the Detroit Lions last season as an unrestricted free agent on a one-year deal after experiencing a Pro Bowl season with the Ravens in 2023. In Detroit, a part of an offensive line for the Lions that was terrific. Franchise record for wins in a season, total net yards, and 29 rushing touchdowns last season. He is durable. He is a veteran. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit older. But, guys, I absolutely love this move for the Tennessee Titans.
I do too, man. It was pretty good, man. He's one of those guys that for a while everybody around the league had respect for. But he didn't get the praise. He got the pay, but he didn't get the accolades that come along with it. I'm shocked that he recently just gotten his Pro Bowl nod, man. He is a guy that had been crushing it for a while. And it sucks that position is so limited as far as the amount of guys that get the recognition, because whenever you're in the door, you don't ever get out. At Cincinnati, he was one of those types of dudes, man. Part of some of their best years there. One of those cool guys, man, that you just – hey, he simply got the job done. He went about his business, and you knew who he was if you played against him. He was that type aggressive, available, as you just said, for the most part. He was one of those dudes, man, that started the fight. He's not a puncher as it pertains to the way he blocked guys at the line of scrimmage. I admire this game because it was a lot like mine in the sense where, like, he grabs guys. Like, he invites you to the phone booth, and he starts a fight, and it doesn't end. He's intense as hell, and he's good in the run and the pass. Again, you watch him. He's got a wide stance, and his arms get wide, but that's not where his hands finish. He'll punch wide and get his hands tight. And you will look at his feet, he never stops moving them. And that's a product right there. That's a sign of a good offensive lineman, especially the style that he's playing. If you look at also the way, if we're going to hold them accountable from time to time, PFF, I'm looking at how he's graded out over the course of his career. One, his pass pro is pretty solid, so just got to throw that out.
It is, for sure.
Remember we brought up the idea of, like, they're designating what this offensive line strengths are going to be depending upon the sides. Left side should be your strong pass protection side. Right side, looking at Kevin Zeitler's grades, has all been very positive as far as runs. This will be a road grading side of the offensive line. And with JC, you know, with how everybody speaks about how strong he is and his strengths and how much he squats and stuff like that. Their combination blocks, man, should be, I'm talking about removing a man. Mm-hmm. Moving them up off the ground is what I expect, especially with Coach Bill Callahan's technique that all those guys can continue to use here. But Zeitler is one of those guys, man. I'm glad he finally got his Pro Bowl nod, but this right here solidifies how I feel about protection moving forward. And more than anything, I'll be real with y'all, you get a name that you trust. Like, I even feel like last year with, like, Cushionberry. Like, oh, everybody's telling us he's the best center on the market. Well, you know Zeitler's one of the best guards. Everybody around the league knows that Cushionberry's that good, too. And if you look at the group of guys, young guys that they have, I'll even throw Dan Moore now in year 5. Dan Moore, Peter, and also JC. That is a good start. I'll be completely honest. And with three of the 5, potentially Cush too, with his long contract that he has, you now, if they stay healthy, you have the ability to start drafting guys potentially at some point and developing. That's what this gives you. Now, Zeitler's only on the 1-year deal for me, right? So you look at his situation and say, as much as you can get out of him, you do. The person behind him, you need to be finding them as soon as possible. But if your 4 out of 5 is legit, that's a good good starting point for a rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, it's great in terms of adding to this offensive line, adding veteran leadership, and now you're kind of seeing a revamped line in that way too, because last year just was a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience. It just makes me feel better for the fact that you've got some guys now, whether it be Dan Moore or Zeitler or, Lloyd Cushenberry eventually getting back and getting healthy, to be able to kind of anchor things there. Because I think that was something I did run into last year, even in the locker room. the veteran kind of you went to look to once Lloyd Cushenberry was gone was Dan Brunskill. And I'm sorry, like, no offense against Dan Brunskill, but he's not a starter, right? Like, he's not on that line with them every single day. He's in the room, no problem.
Totally.
But I think it's different when you actually have guys out there with them, learning with them. And so I think that's huge. I also think, I will say this, as much as there's been some moves I've questioned under Mike Borgonzi to start everything off, he has stuck true to building up front. And on both lines, we're starting to see that now with the defensive move they've made, but just speaking on offense, they are definitely making better moves and bringing in guys that have experience to whatever quarterback they're about to put back there. That we still don't know. So he's holding true to what he said, and I do think that is something to take into account too. Like, they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do. I think it's going to be good. J.C. Latham is now switching over there. I don't think it will be a huge change for him since he played most of the time in Alabama. But to have a guy like Zeitner who's done it for a long time, plus the durability factor, that's the other theme we're hearing throughout this free agency signing. All these players they're signing, guys, have played pretty much every game.
They don't miss games.
They don't miss games.
That's been the theme among all these guys. I mean, Xavier Woods at safety, older guy, but he's still very durable. Draymond Jones, who comes in at edge, we'll talk about him in a minute. Guy who's played a lot of football, does not miss a ton of games. It is also why when people mention Cooper Kupp in the Titans, again, feel like that's agent-driven and not something that is remotely Titans-driven at all.
Right.
No. Please not jinx this.
Well,
Jerry Sneed 2.0.
Justin, have you not heard my spiel on jinxes? If I could influence a result of sporting events with my words, my teams would have a heck of a lot more championships in my life.
Starting with
Tennessee
the Braves.
football's one championship would not be just when I was one at home with an ear infection as a little baby. You guys know I wanted Kevin Zeitler from the beginning.
You called him.
The only reason I really kind of pivoted to Brandon Scherf was I felt like he'd go back to Detroit.
Scherf got banged up a little bit last year, though. I feel like towards the latter part. I felt like anyway. Wasn't he with the Jags?
With the Jags, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like he got hurt the game. The Titans
the
was playing
Brandon
against him.
Callahan, or the Brandon Callahan, the Bill Callahan, the Bill Callahan connection is what I thought made sense there too. Right. Another older guy you could have given probably a little less money than this for 1 year, but Zeitler is the better option.
He's the better option.
After 3 years in Baltimore, joined Detroit, 86.8 PFF grade. PFF likes him a lot.
Not bad.
In the regular season, was his best since 2014 last year. 87.2 run blocking grade, a career high last season. Once again, PFF compares him to Ramon Foster.
Did they really?
On their top 100 free agents available.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm
No,
serious.
you lying.
They say 2019 comp. That's
Look at
right.
that.
2019
Look at
comp,
that.
Ramon Foster. Similar pass blocking and true pass set blocking grade were very similar. A bit better of a run blocker.
Yeah.
But comparing to when you hit free agency in 2019.
Who was the other one?
Brandon Scherf, actually.
That's right. Okay.
I believe, yeah.
Yes.
Damn. Okay. Well, shout out to me.
Kevin Zeitler, you have to succeed now.
PFF
For all the
is
people who have said,
Ramon's
Ramon,
backer
can
there."
you just come out and play for us again? Well, I mean,
Right?
this is the comp.
That's funny because I mentioned it earlier without knowing that. The fact, like, he's a grabber at the line of scrimmage, but his hands never get caught outside. He's what he does. I set off the line of scrimmage. He set at the line of scrimmage to start a fight. Those type of dudes. He's probably just a better athlete than me in the sense of like his trusting himself.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
But that's fascinating. Again, they're going after pass pro.
You played against him before.
Yeah, a few times.
Obviously not on the same.
We've dapped it up
block
on
against him, but
we've dapped it up on the field and everything, like
Nice.
NFLPA comrades and all. Like I know Zeitler pretty well, and like I said, that's what's most surprising to me. I would have thought at the point because he's got broken off about two times
Yeah,
now.
right.
So I'm shocked that in year 9 or 10 for him, he had just made a Pro Bowl. He's been deserving
this
of
is
that.
your 14.
You're
It's
14.
the craziest thing, too. Yeah, 2023 is first Pro Bowl.
He had been
Jeez.
deserved for a long time, man. That's why I would tell y'all, like, there's a lot of good players around the league that, like, the Pro Bowl and All-Pro don't justify at times, and you need one or two
for
of
sure.
those moments to make it. That's hype. I'm hyped for him, man.
I
That's
love it.
good.
Culture setter. Guy that's still playing good football. He's not just it's not like when the Titans brought in Jonathan Joseph.
No.
Right? Like, it's not just like a good locker room guy who's a veteran who knows your coaches. Like, this is a good football player still who is healthy and who is going to teach the young linemen how to be pros. And I would love for them to draft a guard as well.
Yeah.
To learn from this guy moving forward as well. Steve Palazzolo and Sam Monson, whenever they come on, always talk about how your goal when you have a bad offensive line should be to get back to average. Get back to the midway point of the NFL. Is the offensive line of Dan Moore, Peter Skoronski, Lloyd Cushenberry, Kevin Zeitler, and J.C. Latham capable of being an average number 16 ranked offensive line in the NFL this year?
I think they can. And for this reason right here, each one of them has the run blocking ability. That's not a weakness of theirs. And like it starts there. I heard Blaine speaking about defensive players the other day and how schemes work and stuff like that. And Blaine was just like, here's the thing about it. If you can't stop the run, you got nothing. An offense that can run the football on you opens up everything. So the fact that this group is strong as far as the strength, Peter Skoronski may be the last one of that group as far as run blocking. When you look at how they can set that up to open up the pass and other things on this offense, the expectation with the pedigree of guys that they have. How many first-rounders at this point? 2 first-rounders, the highest the highest center on the market last year, the highest paid free agent tackle this past year, and with a veteran guy in Zeitler. Yes, the expectation should be top 16. Now, quarterback play, operation of schematics, availability of weapons too, that plays a part in it. But as far as their jobs up front, that group right there, you remember we spoke about leadership on this team. That group right there needs to be the biggest, loudest group in the building at this point right now. And the other part of it is, though, too, only thing I worry about is Jeff and Zeitler in camp. Because Zeitler he might be a guy.
I'm okay with that, man.
But Zeitler's 14th year.
Bring it.
He's 14th year. It's the only thing.
He might say, I'm too old for this.
Save them bullets for the season. I know
those for the Forrest Buckner.
Dude, that's all I'm saying, Jeff. Hey, yes, Will. Save them bullets for later.
I do like it because it does feel like Kevin Zeitler can make not only the culture different in the offensive line, but just in the whole offense. Yeah. Like now when media wants to talk to somebody after a loss, they're going to go to Kevin Zeitler.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to go to, obviously quarterback you're going to talk to always separately, but like Kevin Zeitler, I think, can be the spokesperson of this entire offense. And again, like talking to media is not the end-all be-all, but it is an indicator of who the leaders are. And for an offense that desperately lacked leadership last season after they made a couple of trades, I think this dude is your guy. This is your alpha within this room that allows the younger guys to come along and just be taught throughout the entire process.
I think that right now, in this next season, they've definitely done what it takes on paper to show that they're an improved offensive line and that they can be at least middle of the pack. Now, we'll see in the future because there's some one-year deals mixed in this, right? And probably hoping to bring some young guys along. But as long as they are able to do in terms of staying in the middle of the pack next year, I think that is a much improvement for the past 2 years, guys. I mean, they just... To know that J.C. Latham is at right tackle, and I'm not saying like he's going to be genius, right? But he's going to be like so much better than what we experienced last year, which is mind-blowing to think that the ever rotating right tackle thing was all season. It wasn't just like part of the season. It was happening throughout the season, and it made things so much unstable on that line. I think not just for play, but just not knowing if you're Dylan Radins, who's going to be playing with you that next day. So I think there's a lot more security there, guys. And again, for any quarterback, whatever quarterback comes and plays for the Titans this next year, or if it's Will Levis or Cam Ward, they got to feel better about what they have up front. And now I just think having the depth part is big too. And you can speak on that, Ramon, but I've watched this line in years past. When one goes down, you do need to make sure that you've got somebody to come in if that happens, and they've got to have the depth.
They're going to have to address that in the draft too this year.
Yep, absolutely.
So now, based on where they were picked on your offensive line, at left tackle you have a 4th-round pick who has overachieved based on where he's drafted, but left tackle a 4th-round pick, left guard a 1st-round pick, at center a 3rd-round pick, and at right guard and right tackle 2 1st-round picks.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like the expectations, honestly, I think the ceiling of this offensive line is to be a top 10 unit in the NFL, considering who it's coached by.
Yeah.
What I've watched in these Titans jerseys is that a lot of these guys forget how to play when they put on a Titans jersey, unfortunately, which is my battered Titan syndrome showing up. So that being said, and health and all these things, and you've got some older guys, right? But really just one in Zeitler. But Cushenberry coming off the Achilles is a major question mark for me. And they are going to have to still address backup center.
Yeah.
And that is going to be something that is important for them moving forward. It's probably a day 3 pick on someone they believe is a project. I mean, Willie Lampkin would look great behind Lloyd Cushenberry. Obviously, he's not going to last that long, but that to me is the question mark. If that 5 stays healthy, I think it's a top 10 to 12 to top 14, maybe at worst, offensive line of the NFL. It's a good thing.
Cole Spencer's still on the roster too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a great question.
I'm going through.
You're hitting me with backup undrafted guard questions on March the 13th.
I don't know if
in the
he
year
is.
of our Lord 2025. I think he is because I think he got a futures deal. But
he
I'll
got
go
a futures deal. All right,
I'll go check
try
the
to
Titans futures deal.
I'll bloviate as you continue to go through this. Then, with that being the case, though, too, man. How you have to view this group that's assembled. Like, one, you do have to almost bubble wrap a couple of them to get them to the season. Lloyd Cushenberry being one of those guys. And, of course, like I said, Zeitler going into year 14. It doesn't scare me at all as far as, like, the way he's played. I didn't see any dip in his play that said he was going to have a fall off. Like, you usually see that decline, or sometimes guys just, hey, and I'm done. And that's what I'm hoping for a guy like him, man, is just still at a high rate for him. This is, and the other part too I was going to bring up is this. He has been a part of 3 teams that have gone on and won a division. He won it twice. He won the AFC North twice while he was in Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure they won an NFC North last year. He's been in Baltimore where they've won it also, and the styles of quarterbacks and offenses that he's run. He's multifaceted in how you approach this. This move right here settles, honestly, if Zeitler to me and him signing here, I think makes the Dan Moore signing that much better. I think he makes J.C. Latham that much better. And whoever you have to put in as a stopgate until Lloyd Cushenberry gets back from that Achilles, that's the only thing I hate. I feel better about his injury if it was a doggone ACL.
Yep.
I hate the Achilles one, man.
But ACL injuries have changed so much.
They have.
It's almost a 6-month injury sometimes.
I mean, you don't even bat an eye at it. It's like baseball and Tommy John right now. It's like, okay, well, you get it done, and hopefully you'll be back. The weight bearing of the Achilles
That's what I
one
was going to ask you
bothers me a little bit. And that's for anybody. I don't care if you're a hooper that only weighs 180 pounds or wide receiver. That one, you got to have it all the way right.
It's like the weight bear, like you said, because you see Aaron Rodgers, he came back pretty. I mean, he was good all last year. Kirk Cousins, that's not the injury he dealt with. But I would think with somebody in terms of alignment, who's putting a lot more weight on that.
Just the pushing and pulling every single play of his. Like Aaron Rodgers can get by with it. Kirk Cousins get by with it because they don't necessarily hit somebody every single play. It's the strain of it that gets me. I do think Lloyd will be fine. He walked off the field like he was Kobe when it happened. So that was the tip of the cap to the type of person that he is too. Even if it was just symbolic of him just not showing weakness. Well, it was symbolic of him not showing weakness. Yeah. I have faith in it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm nervous. I'll be completely honest. I'm nervous.
I think there's reason to be excited about the Titans' offensive line for the first time in a minute.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. The offensive linemen who were signed to reserve/futures contracts last year were Chandler Brewer and Isaiah Prince.
Yeah.
Andrew Rupsich brought back as well, so Cole Spencer is no longer.
Okay, then. All right.
Maybe they can still bring him back.
Maybe they still.
To answer your question, no, he's not here.
He's not here. I actually thought, because he was a priority free agent, if I'm not mistaken, last year.
He got paid a little bit in the undrafted process.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
I feel better about the Zeitler and, of course, I'm a lineman, y'all going to say, but I feel better about the Zeitler and Dan Moore signing than I did about L'Jarius or Calvin Ridley at any point last year right now. Just on the basis that, for this reason, I think you get a lot out of L'Jarius still and Calvin Ridley. But this one right here shows that you're serious about big men. We went through the offseason all last year talking about what position, right tackle,
There's less long-term upside, but I do think there is more immediate
impact.
Yes. I think it's fair.
I ain't want to be overshooting
impact,
it.
but just like the floor is so much higher.
There we go.
You know who these guys are.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. A trade, another signing, much more still to get to. How's morale You feeling better today, Titans fans, after you made some big moves yesterday? 615-737-1045 as we continue after this. Waking up with you and starting off your Thursday morning here on RKW. We are brewed by Scooter's Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. 615-737-1045 is the number. We had questions about Cody Barton playing next to Kenneth Murray Jr. Two run-defending inside linebackers. They do a lot of the same things. Well, we'll see it, Kenneth Murray. He is sent to the Dallas Cowboys along with a 7th-round pick. The Titans move up essentially about 50 spots into the 6th round, and they save $7 million in the process, guys. What did you make of the Kenneth Murray trade yesterday?
I was a little shocked at first. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't think they would have a trade partner for a guy like him. But here's the thing. I'm not sure of Dallas's makeup as far as their linebacking core and stuff like that, so I'm not going to pretend to. But looking at a guy like him who's known to be a thumper, that's something that they got to have on a team that they're facing every single week. That's one, Jaden Daniels right now, and also Saquon Barkley. They got to have somebody to be able to get after the running back in that division that they have right now. So that's the only thing I look at, his asset, him being an asset to the Dallas Cowboys. They went after somebody who's going to make their team on paper tougher. Glad you can get something from him. Looked like the Titans just wanted to get rid of him at that point. Probably feel a certain way about that deal for the production that he was given, considering he's a liability at times, specifically in the pass and coverage game that you got to have here in the AFC South with the quarterbacks that you have. C.J. Stroud, of course, seeing what Jacksonville's going to do with Liam Cohen moving forward. Won't even mention Indianapolis in this one so far. I don't know what their offense is going to look like right now or who's going to be running it.
Yeah, similar to here. That they do have a backup, though, it seems to be. And, well, backup or starter, I guess, in Daniel Jones, right. Yeah, I was definitely a little surprised. I'll say that just for the fact that there is not a lot in that linebacker room in terms of, veteran players right now. There are a lot of young guys. You can talk about possibly James Williams, being a guy in terms of somebody who could step up and take a bigger role. Cedric Gray, who's inexperienced and had some issues with his shoulder last year and sort of came into being a little bit of what we thought he might be late in the season, but that wasn't even more so linebacker. That was kind of more special teams play. So I was a little shocked just because there's not a lot in that room. However, with that signing of Cody Barton, like we talked about yesterday, guys, there was similarities in terms of not having the coverage part down, but being able to be a guy who could, defend the run. They kind of did similar things. And so this is why you probably see now one out the door in Kenneth Murray. And now you'll see what they continue to add to that spot. But, a little bit shocked, guys, in terms of letting him go. But I think this is what we're seeing with Borgonzi. He's not afraid to come in and say, this isn't fitting what we want to do. And as much as we question the plan, slowly the plan is starting to unfold. Now we got to see what the quarterback plan is. But all these positions, it's kind of taken time to see how they're planning on doing this. Wide receiver's another one. But I think it will probably make sense in the end. Just at first, I was like, wait, you're getting rid of another linebacker?
Yeah. I think it makes a ton of sense, to be honest with you, because him and Cody Barton fulfill a lot of the same roles, do a lot of the same things. And I am going out and I'm still signing another linebacker to play next to Barton.
I think me too.
I am not trusting James Williams or Cedric Gray to step into that big of a role yet. I would love for them to maybe by the end of the season or in 2026. I wonder if a guy like Eric Kendricks is at play there. Another older guy who's 33 years old, a little bit of a better coverage guy. He's great against the run. Eric Kendricks, even at this point in his career, curious if that's a direction they could go, or C.J. Mosley, who is now also available, let go by the Jets yesterday, and someone who has familiarity with this coaching staff.
He does. CJ's a leader type guy. I have a lot of respect for a guy like him, too. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, I'll be completely honest with you, about his coverage skills or whatnot.
Yeah, that's the concern with putting him next to Barton.
It is, though. Here's the things with James Williams. If he turns into where you want him to as far as his coverage, a former safety, he's got to be somewhat good at it. Cedric Gray, we don't know what his specialty is, considering how much he did not play last year with the shoulder injury that Kayla just brought up a second ago. So it's going to be fascinating on either safety they'll bring in to help alleviate the pass pro. But here's the other side of it, though, too. What are you going to do up front to be able to generate pressure? Because what helps out your backfield is being able to get to the quarterback. And that's where both of those departments got to work hand in hand. But, again, getting a 6 for Kenneth Murray at this point, for a guy that you weren't too high on at the end of last year, that's right there what you call a good flip.
And according to reports, they are not retaining any of his salary.
Well, that's
They gave all of that money
bigger.
to Dallas. So, I mean,
That's a good move.
Saving $7 million to move up 50 spots for a guy you didn't love,
Yeah.
sold.
And especially,
It's good business.
like if I feel like they have a plan. So whether that be, like you said, bringing in a guy like Eric Kendricks, I think what we do know, guys, the theme of what they're doing is, bringing in these guys that can do a year contract, right? And then you could see what you get out of them. They're a little bit older in terms of players, but I think their ultimate goal is they're just going to keep on getting these younger players in. So you might not see these guys here for long, but if you can, have a stopgap player who can improve you this year, I think they're just taking it year by year, trying to build their base.
It is so much like what the Commanders did last year.
Yeah.
It is identical.
Yeah.
And players like that, too, like they play well for that year. All right, let's do another one.
Let's do it.
Bobby Wagner just got another one-year deal with Washington. Run it back, buddy. Let's go.
He did. He got another 1 year.
Yeah.
The only thing that I push back on, though, is too with this is when you have these 1 year guys, you hope that it works very well for you, because losing diminishes what they're capable of.
Right.
You need 1 year guys that give a crap.
Yeah. Yes.
It's easy to get 1 year deals, and a rookie quarterback comes in and makes you a stud, makes you a contender, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I love being here. I want to perform and come back. Mm-hmm. Need that to be the case here.
Gotta be the case.
Titans picks after the Kenneth Murray trade, obviously 1 and 35. You have 103 and 120 in the 4th round. You have 141 and 167 in the 5th. And now in the 6th, you have 2 picks within 10 spots at 178 and 188.
Yeah.
So I think the value of that, too, is that one of those packaged with one that you have earlier can allow you to move up 10, 15, 20 spots. If there is someone you love, it's just more ammo to put in your, in your chamber. If you like somebody at 110 and you have pick 120, well, then you give them 120 and 178, and you can move up, and you feel more willing to do that considering you got 188 in the 6th.
What is it, 8 total now?
8
or 9?
It's still 8. Yeah.
It's still 8?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so I
didn't
had to
pick
get
up
that
any
7.
additional picks. They just moved up
Just
50
moved up.
spots from
Not
where
bad.
they were. It was Green Bay's 7th in the Malik Willis trade.
Yeah.
Is the 7th they gave to Dallas yesterday. 615-737-1045 is our number. Should the Titans be in the market for Cooper Kupp? Some reporting out there that maybe they could be, and then some more local reporting that provides other insight. Should they be, though? We'll talk about that next. 7:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Will Bowling. The Titans adding some beef yesterday in free agency. Guard Kevin Zeitler is signing a one-year, $9 million deal with the team. He joined the Detroit Lions last season as an unrestricted free agent on a one-year deal last offseason after experiencing his first Pro Bowl season with the Baltimore Ravens in 2023. The Titans also added pass rush help yesterday, adding Seahawks edge Draymond Jones to a one-year, $10 million deal. Jones had 4 sacks last season for Seattle and a career-high 6.5 sacks with the Broncos in 2022. The Titans made a trade yesterday, sending Kenneth Murray and a 7th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys and a 6th-round pick. The 26-year-old Murray had a career-high 3.5 sacks last season in addition to 95 tackles at the inside linebacker position. In hoops last night, Mississippi State rolled LSU 91-62, setting up a matchup with Missouri tonight. And Oklahoma takes a massive step toward an NCAA tournament berth with an 81-75 win over Georgia. They'll get Kentucky late tonight. The day begins in Bridgestone Arena today with Arkansas Ole Miss at noon, followed by Texas A&M and Texas at 2:30. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. We stream the show live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Twitch, please.
So Cooper Kupp is out there. Released yesterday by the LA Rams. He will be 32 this season. Aaron Wilson, National NFL reporter, writes on Twitter, Packers, Seahawks, Titans all make a lot of sense as fits for Rams veteran free agent Cooper Kupp. Green Bay is one to watch. Are you interested in Cooper Kupp? Yes or no?
Here's the thing. I'm interested in wide receivers right now in general because there aren't many. And I know we had the conversation with Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio yesterday, a good conversation at that, in terms of some of the younger guys being able to step into those spots. And I do agree with him that Bryce Oliver could be a guy that not a lot of people have on their radar that is very well respected in that locker room, very liked by the coaches, and has shown progress in terms of what he could potentially do as a wide receiver, not just a special teamer. However, that is not like a proven situation right now, right? That might take a little time to get into that role. So right now you have Calvin Ridley. You've got Van Jefferson, who they just signed, which he has not played a lot of, football in the last couple of years in terms of just being out on the field.
Right.
And so right now it's like, where is the answer for what you're going to give whatever quarterback in terms of weapons? Because we got the line now, but what about the weapons? We know that's just as important. And so I'm somewhat interested in Cooper Kupp just for the fact that he is a wide receiver that has experience, that has been productive in his career. However, the injuries do worry me. There's no doubt about why that is holding, I think, a lot of teams back and why the Rams potentially eventually released him because he hasn't been as reliable in the last couple of years, few years, I should say. He's played 12, and 9 games in the past 3 years. Last year, though, I mean, a receiver, if you're looking at numbers, 3 in terms of 710 yards, 6 touchdowns.
He just never plays.
Yeah, he's just not
on the field.
He's not out there as much. So as much as I want receivers, and this initially seems great in terms of, hey, we could add him, had to be the complete right price, guys. And I just don't see Borgonzi in the way they're going with like reliable players. Like, I don't feel like this now would fit.
It's not
just
a fit at all.
because they're not looking at injured players.
Right.
I have no interest at all.
Yeah.
No, I'm tired of old 30-something receivers getting paid to not play for the Titans. No, thank you. Out. Totally out.
His situation was very fascinating. Like you said, his thing to me is you get, according to his resume, a better version of what Tyler Boyd could have been here. Right? And that goes down to his role in offense, and also the biggest thing is his availability. Like, Puka Nacua became a guy because of him. You know, like, it's that situation right there allowed him to really shine. Now, again, he has the ability to make all the catches you want. He has this unique route running just tree. Like, he can get open, but it's a matter of how is he gonna stay on the field.
Got to be present to win.
And then if you get him, what is the pay also to justify? Like,
exactly.
He's only gonna play 14 games. Yeah. He might play 12 games.
You're not paying a lot of money.
So that's where it becomes problematic.
Paul Gaharski with the report. He does not expect the Titans to be in for Kupp. I think it's totally agent-driven, and I think agent is smart representing Cooper Kupp to put out wide receiver needy teams as teams that were, quote-unquote, ones to watch. I don't think the Titans are putting out there that they have any interest because it does not fit the criteria of what we know Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker value right now. They value availability, durability, and leadership and production from these older guys for a short amount of time. I don't see Cooper Kupp fitting in really any of that.
I also wonder with whoever does sign Kupp, and I don't know how much, real ties he has to certain teams, but I also look at him as even whoever does decide to sign him, I feel like it will be like a one-year deal. I just don't feel like people are going to attach themselves to somebody with those injuries.
Unless it's somebody cap strapped as far as like guarantee a 1-year deal. No, 2 is the most I'd see for a guy like him. But I can't imagine him being in their plans here specific. But they do need, I'm talking about two more solid signings is what I suggest.
Double dip in the draft.
Yes, they do. They also need an edge if they go quarterback.
We are going to play a game later at 9:20 of draft, free agency, or both. As we are going to go position by position and tell you whether or not they need to draft that position or need to address that position in the draft, free agency, or both. That one still feels most significantly like both.
Like both. It does. Seriously.
I agree.
Draymond Jones is added yesterday. Interesting profile of player when you talk about a 1-year, $10 million deal for an edge rusher close to 280 pounds. PFF liked him better than Danico Autry last season.
Did they really?
Oh, wow.
They did.
Interesting.
Bigger edge, guy that can slide inside if he needs to. Career high 6.5 sacks twice in 2020 and 2022. And I absolutely love this. I absolutely love it. To me, it feels like the Danico Autry replacement that they never got last year.
Yeah, for sure. I like it too for one specific reason, his pass rush and ability to get in the backfield. He is a liability in a run. And this is the way I view his situation. When you look at a guy like him, you bring him in 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations like that, maybe to spare somebody on 1st down. If you want a disruptor, that's what you're going to get from him. He's a risk taker, the way I view his tape. If I was blocking a guy like this, I'd say just set in front of him and don't let him make his second move. That's what he's good at. He shows up on tape awesome, man. He gets upfield and disrupt big time. But don't expect the guy. Those types of guys right there are usually liabilities in the run. And it's because they are on their way to they're stopping, how does it go? They're stopping the run on the way to the quarterback. That's his style of play right there. And it's exciting. You need this. You spoke about it yesterday. I thought you brought it up too. It was like there has to be a pass rush. That's playing next to Big Jeff. With the guys that you've signed, like Tavondre, is one thing. And I think Sebastian Joseph Day is a holdest point at the line of attack type of guy. He's not a specific pass rusher. This guy, Draymond Jones, is a pass rusher.
Right. And that's what you kind of like about this signing. Again, the theme here for Borgonzi, it's a 1-year deal. A guy that has played all 17 games in the last 2 seasons recently with the Seahawks. And I know, they'll look at maybe somewhat of what he didn't do with the Seahawks because he primarily played the edge position fully for the first time with the Seahawks. And I think he had, 4.5 sacks last year with them. But I think the Titans are looking at this as he's a versatile player. Like you said, we have Devondre Sweat, we have Big Jeff inside. So the run defense is not as big of a deal like you mentioned. And if you can get that versatile play out of him, I don't think it significantly solves the edge position fully by any means. But it gives you a versatile player for a 1-year deal. I like it.
Oh, no. Like, the run, if he could stop the run, it'd be that much better. He's just not good at it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, he's a straight hips type of guy that gets upfield. He's a penetrating style of players, the way you view a guy like him.
Yeah.
He's not heavyweighted or nothing like that. His goal,
he's a little
the way he
undersized
plays,
too, I think.
He's about 280.
Trayvon Jones? He's bigger, dude.
He's bigger. His goal is to get after the quarterback is what he wants to do.
He's an oversized edge rusher or an undersized interior defensive
He's
lineman.
an oversized Derek Barnett.
Yep.
Okay.
This is the way I look at
behind
him. Yeah. Like, Barnett now gets after the quarterback at a bigger weight, but coming out, I thought Barnett carried 270-ish?
He was more of a 4-3 defensive end.
Yeah.
Versus a speed rusher and a 3-4 off the edge.
Yes.
But you're in nickel so much now.
Exactly.
In today's NFL that you're almost in a base nickel set more often than not.
I wonder how they'll use him. Will it be second and long, third and long? Because, again, run stopping ain't his specialty.
Got options.
Nope.
Yes.
On YouTube this morning, I really thought our audience would be a little happier this morning after the moves they've made. Hollerin' Dave writes in, says, I'm so over the Titans being in Nashville. Can we trade the franchise to Panama City Beach for some shrimp and a 6-pack? I'll even throw in Will for a bumper sticker. Hey, done.
PCB,
I'll go live at PCB with the Titans.
Dang.
I will absolutely go eat grouper and have very nice,
Cocktails?
drinks
Yeah.
with pineapples in them.
I do like pineapple.
And it can be the Ramon and Kayla show. I'll go hang out with the Panama City Beach Titans.
Hey, man.
I mean,
You
we
better
can take
get a nice
show down
bumper
there.
sticker.
I'm fine with doing the show
I
remote.
mean,
No, I was the only one throwing in the trade. I don't have any trade value. I'm the guy you throw in, and you just, we'll just swap
Bumper
sevenths
sticker.
on the way.
I didn't even see that one.
Am I the Malik Willis of this trade off?
Malik did well in his next spot.
Well, they
You
got
don't
a
even-
7th round pick for him.
Shoot.
So
You don't even get a draft pick. Well, they got
That's
a bumper
crazy.
sticker for you, dog.
at
There's
least
some
a
cool
bag
bumper
of
stickers.
limes could come back in return. Just a bumper sticker? That's crazy.
Is it key lime season right
I'm
now?
at least worth, you know what?
I love
At least
key lime.
help me get you the ability to make a key lime pie.
There it
Right.
is.
At least
Right.
help me help you.
He thought he
Here
thought he
in
was
Nashville.
crapping on you right there. Will, no, you
It's
spun that
unbelievable.
perfectly.
Coming up next, we continue with Coach Dave McGinnis, Titans Radio's head coach, after this. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. Crew all here in studio as we are joined by Titans Radio's head coach, Coach Dave McGinnis, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford. Mac, how we doing? Good morning.
Well, doing great. Ramon, Kayla, I'm doing good. You got all the gang there, don't you?
We do.
Yeah,
We do,
we here,
Coach.
Mac.
Yes, sir. We are the inside
Good.
cats while everyone else gets to go to the SEC tournament. We're just chilling here in studio, but we're happy about it.
Well, you
We're
could
having a
go
good time.
probably over there right now.
Yeah.
You'd probably be helping people get the seats ready.
Sure. Sounds fun.
Mac, I didn't know if I needed to hit you up, Mac, in Arizona, man. I'm not sure if I would have been able to go to your compound or not if you still have it out there, Coach Mac.
That's crazy.
Oh, I mean, anytime you hit me up, I just have people hit me up. They're having a wedding out there this weekend, wanted to know some places. Anytime you go out there, hit me up. I've still got a connection or 1,000.
I love it.
Between 1 and 1,000.
That's the answer I needed.
Coach
right
Mac, you have a connection reportedly to the new punter for the Tennessee Titans. I know John Fossil has worked a lot with Johnny Hecker, and you were on the sideline or in the booth for a lot of Johnny Hecker fake punts. I mean, how unique is this guy's skill sets, Mac? Because I'm seeing him like going through progressions, and he's been quite a weapon through a lot of his career.
When we first went to the Rams, they were in pretty sad shape. They're in St. Louis, 15-65 for 5 years. Do the math. So they didn't have many players. They had no kickers, none. And so as soon as we hired Bones, Fish told Bones, go find us, because we're not going to spend a draft pick on one. Go find us the best 2 free agent kickers. Get us a punter and get us a place kicker. So Bones went out and did his Bones Over America tour, and he got Johnny Hecker as a free agent from Oregon State, and then they got Greg Zuerlein, and they both have had long double-digit careers. Heck is a really, really good athlete, guys. He was a quarterback at Oregon State, but he's a legitimate athlete, and plus what he came into the league with a lot more clubs in his bag than most rookie kickers do. And then over the years with Bones, I mean, those guys, he's got so many clubs in his bag with the stuff that he can do. But the number one thing at the top of it, Heck is a really, really good athlete. And you'll be surprised at his athleticism, even at now that he's as seasoned a vet as he is. Plus, he's a solid dude. I mean, there won't be anybody in that locker room that won't like Johnny Hecker.
So, Coach Mac, Cody Barton reportedly brought in by the Titans. Always want to start with inside linebacker with you and what he was able to do on a 1-year prove-it deal with the Broncos last season, Mac. But what do you know about him and what he can bring to this defense?
Yeah, I haven't studied him once he got in the league. Of course, I went and looked at my draft notebook, that I keep all of them, and since I've been here, he was in that draft. The thing that stood out to me was, first of all, he's a really smart. I had him as a 3rd or 4th round player. What was he taking? What round was he taking in?
Cody Barton was taken in the 3rd round, 88th overall. Mac, it's really would be nice if you knew what you're talking about.
My sheet, I had him on a 3rd or 4th round pick because he's a great K&D guy, a really good key and diagnose guy. I mean, his eyes were always in the right place. I'm just remembering my notes that I went to look at. And plus, at the combine, the things I watch for linebackers at the combine, of course, I like the lower body explosion drills, but the 3-cone drill, because linebackers have to move in short spaces very, very quickly. This guy had an excellent 3-cone time, when I checked him out. So it doesn't surprise me that he's had some success, in the league. And when you're looking for veteran linebackers, the one thing the hardest thing to teach rookie linebackers when they come into the league is 2 things. First of all, it's how to set their eyes, where they need to look, how they need to learn to be able to read, to get ahead of the block. And the other thing is to use their hands, because there's a lot of dip and rip stuff going on when they're coming through college. A lot of the shock and shed stuff, they're not very good at yet. You can teach that and teach that, very, very quickly. If you watch linebacker coaches when they have rookies on the field, they work a lot of shock and shed hand drills. But you've got to have time on task to get your eyes set right. I thought that he was pretty well versed in that, coming out of Utah. So anyway, I mean, you got a veteran player there, and so I mean, that's what they're looking for, guys. You're going to see a lot more of this going on, especially with teams that are resetting, just like the Titans are doing. You're going to see that he's coming off a 1-year contract. You saw what the Commanders did with their 1-year contracts. When you're resetting a football team, you're going to sign some 1-year contracts because you just don't have enough draft picks in one talent acquisition period to be able to reset your whole team. That's why you're going to see a lot of these 1-year contracts with teams that are resetting, which the Titans are doing.
Coach Mack, sticking with the linebackers real quick, man, with Cody Barton being signed here, Kenneth Murray been traded away, how, I guess, is the question I would ask you. Do you get guys like James Williams and Cedric Gray up to speed, Coach Mack, going into the second year for them? Because you know the talent is there. They're young. You can still mold them. What will be the plan for guys like them that possess this amount of talent on this team?
Well, you just got to keep working with Frank Bush.
Okay.
And they're lucky to have Bush here, and he can get. I mean, I've worked with Bush for a long time. I mean, and of course, all of my years as a linebacker coach in this league, you can teach. I've taken guys, that have been safeties, taken guys that have, that have been guys that have been on the edge some, put them behind the ball. You can teach those things. You just have to have the player has to be willing to learn those things. Both of those, they're young linebackers. Look, they'll be completely different their second year. Williams was making a lot of progress at the end of the season. I mean, especially from where he started from, Ramon. Mm-hmm. And Cedric Gray was finally, he missed a lot of important development time early. Worst things could happen to him was getting hurt early in training camp. Worst thing that could happen to him. He needs to get reset coming into this year. This is a big year for him as far as development. But I really think Williams has, he was coming on, and there's a lot more that they can do with him. But you talk about a guy that you can piece and place in there because of his length and because of his ability to cover, dropping down from the back end up to the linebacker spot. But they've got to continue. They need to be living with Frank Bush as soon as they get back on campus.
No doubt about it. Coach Mack, they seem to be going after the bigs this time of year. Cody Zeitler and, of course, Dan Moore were signed, man. How do you evaluate those guys and what they can do for this offensive line, especially if J.C. Latham moves over to the right side, too?
Well, I'm gonna refer to you for the tackle. You know him very, very well. I mean, you know what's going on. Here's what I like. They're getting veteran players that stay healthy and play. That's huge. Yeah. And that's extremely, extremely important. Look, this is no secret. They told everybody, the decision makers did, how they were going to start resetting this team, and they said they were going to start with the big. Yeah. Well, now you've gone from an offensive line where you had two really young guys on the left side. Your left side was good, but it was inexperienced to a point. You lost a center that is, to me, really hurt, losing that hub in the middle. And then your right side was always in flux this year. All of a sudden now, what you've got from the left to the right side, the first five, if your center's back, which he should be, they've still got work to do with this thing. But what this initial part of this reset has done, Ramon, and I think you would agree with this, getting some veteran players in there. Now this allows you to go to your draft, which this is a decent draft to try to find interior offensive linemen. You know that.
Yep.
Rhett and I are getting ready to reset our board for the second time today. Take all day doing that. But this is a good draft to draft inside offensive linemen, because there's some that are there, and then there's some that are tackles that are going to move inside to this league. But now that you've got those vets across the front, you can afford to go do that because that's what's important. But you got veteran guys that not only know how to play, they stayed healthy during their career. That's huge.
Coach Mack joining us this morning on RKW, always sharing his great knowledge. Coach, I think one of the free agent signings that not as many people have talked about, but I think it's a solid signing, a durable player in safety, Xavier Woods. What do you see out of him that can help Amani Hooker back there?
Well, I mean, you needed another veteran. They re-signed Mike Brown too. I like Brown as a safety too. I mean, I think he's a good piece for your back end. But Woods is a guy that has played. He's played both too high. He's also played some drop down stuff, which you've got to have nowadays in the National Football League. I mean, the day of having just a pure strong safety and a free safety, like we used to put them on the board that have stickers for them. Now it's safety. It's safety now because those guys have to have some multiplicity to their game just because of all the motion and all the sets that you're going to see offensively now. So he's a guy that's played, and he's able to do both of that. I think Denard will like – well, I know Denard will like what he does because I'm sure he had a hand in getting him here.
When it comes to beefing up the offensive front, we've seen that. And then recently, as reported – last night, it looks like Draymond Jones is coming here and, initially drafted out of Ohio State primarily as a defensive end, but I think played a lot of edge last year in Seattle. What do you think he adds in terms of just the versatility part on the front?
Well, that's it. You just said it. He's a veteran, versatile guy that's had some really consistent snaps, and that's what you're looking for there. I mean, when they started this reset, which they were very vocal and they were very open about how they were going to do this, what they were going to do. I mean, this is the type of reset that you're going to see. I mean, it's extremely important to find pieces at this time that can come in and they can play while you're still being able to start fortifying what you've got with younger players. They're still going to build this thing through the draft, but you've got to piece it together. He's a nice piece. I would say he's a nice, consistent, versatile piece. That's how I would describe his game.
Coach Sam McGinnis with us this morning, presented by our friends at Two Rivers Ford. Coach Mack, when you look at this offensive line, we're going to have the conversation coming up later in the show. They could be building a line for Cam Ward to step right in and be their quarterback in 2025. What will Cam Ward need around him to be successful when you watch the film on him? And what will his maturation process look like as you try to coach out some of the bad parts of his film and really build on the things that he does best?
Yeah, the quarterbacks are different. Of all the betting I've done the thing, and again, we're all at a disadvantage, and everybody needs to admit that's evaluating players that aren't really in the room with the club, and especially at quarterback. I mean, what everybody misses that is not a part of a team is we're not in the meetings, we're not going to these schools, we're not sitting down with these players face to face, and getting to vet the person, which is, I would never ever draft a quarterback without vetting the person. I've done it for years, and the quarterback situation, I can't really answer that about what Cam Ward or how he has to develop unless I could sit down with him for several times and try to parse out, where he is. You can see physically what he's capable of, but that physicality for quarterback has so much more to do with what goes on with them, from the neck up, that it's extremely, extremely important to vet the player and know it. I know this. Fixing that offensive front was a must. That was a must, right, to begin with. They have started doing that. So whoever is taking snaps back there is going to be in a better situation than one where you've got, changes on the offensive line weekly and sometimes daily and sometimes series by series in a game. This is going to be a much better situation for whoever ends up taking the snaps here. I do know that.
Coach Mack, on the defensive side of things, man, there has to be big expectations for T'Vondre Sweat going into this year, fully understanding what the offseason is, and also with his role that he can play now with Draymond Jones being a pass rusher that this team just signed to. Coach Mack, how do you view his second step? What should it look like, I guess, in the early phases of this offseason, Coach Mack?
No, he just continued. He continued to develop. I was very impressed with what he did his rookie year, and he came in here with some people. Not anybody within that building, because I know, I talk to those coaches. You do too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just on a deep level, there was no consternation about what he was going to be. And you know how much they dug on him. You talk about, they go down to Huntsville, Texas, and sit down in his living room and say, if we bring you in here, if we draft you, here's what we expect. And they laid it out. They laid it out step by step what they expected of him, and he fulfilled all of that. I mean, I was very, very happy with the way that he accepted being a professional last year, and I think that he will only grow with that, Ramon. I think the interior defensive line is the strength of his football team right now, because they re-signed Coburn, they re-signed Sebastian Joseph Day. They've got some guys in there now that, and you got to rotate on the defensive front. We know that that's the way the league works. You have to rotate in there. But I was very, very impressed with the way he handled the challenge, and he kind of dispelled all the doubters about how much he could play, how much he would weigh, how much this, how much that. He just went to work, and so I think he will continue that. And to me, that he's got a bright future ahead of him. He proved a lot of people wrong last year. Now he's got to continue to prove everybody wrong and just keep himself on the right path.
Yes, sir.
Coach Dave McGinnis, Titans Radio's head coach, with us Thursdays at 7:20 here on the show. Mac, we appreciate the breakdown as always, and look forward to hear more about the reset draft board next week. Enjoy it.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. I've been asked to speak. We may be putting together a Keep Your Powder Dry seminar. I've been asked to speak at it, so I'll give you some more details later.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Coach.
We will be there.
See you.
See you,
Coach Dave McGinnis. It's March 13th.
Hey,
Yesterday it was March 12th. Today it's March 13th.
Find you a level of importance, okay, where people just want to make good seminars out of your catchphrases. Like a Keep Your Powder Dry seminar. Can you imagine that, man? Powder flying everywhere.
Master of Ceremonies, Dave McGinnis.
Hate to see LeBron James coming, boy.
Coming up, a minute on hoops as we recap day one of the SEC tournament. Vandy goes down, and a couple of teams who needed wins to keep tournament hopes in the green and not the red get big ones yesterday. We'll tell you what happened and look ahead to today's matchups as well. Coming up.
It's Ramon Foster, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Y'all, they've been in business since 1990 and are family owned and operated. Jimmy Hiller was recently named amongst the most admired CEOs, and it's because how he truly cares for his team and his clients. Hiller will take care of the customers on every job every single time, and they stand behind their work too. 100% satisfaction of a happy you'll be or the service is free. If a customer isn't pleased with the work performed, they will make it right, man. It's just what they do. And it starts with their true transparency pricing. What this means is that Hiller will line item every part of the job up front so homeowners can easily understand what they're paying for and why. They will itemize everything for you. No hidden fees, no added costs, no surprises when you get your bill. Listen, I'm a user of Hiller, all right? They've done good work at my house, man, whether it be plumbing, the heating and cooling, or electrical for my low voltage stuff, man. If you want to reach out to the company that I trust, man, simply visit happyhiller.com.
All right, KW brewed up by Scooter's Coffee, wrapping up the first half of your Thursday morning. On this program, we call it Friday Junior. 615-737-1045. SEC tournament starting yesterday. Excited today to see Texas A&M in person.
Big beefing. Yes.
Certainly helpful for Texas's NCAA tournament chances yesterday, beating Vanderbilt 79-72. Man, Vandy just picked a bad day to miss a lot of shots.
Dang.
Played fine. Just didn't hit threes.
Defense was there when you needed it to. I mean, Texas got up quick on them, and it seemed like they were scrambling the entire time to get back to zero, and they could not.
Offensive rebounding, that was the name of the game early for Texas. Vanderbilt would still equal their amount of rebounds, 34-34 at the end of this one. But Trey Johnson.
Woo-wee.
Man, my biggest takeaway, I was there for all 4 games yesterday. My biggest takeaway is that the teams on Wednesday have lottery picks in a way we have never seen in the SEC. Like, it is one thing to have legitimate individual talent in this conference. We're talking about Asa Newell at Georgia. We're talking about Trey Johnson at Texas. We're talking about Jeremiah Fears at Oklahoma. Josh Hubbard was hooping last night for Mississippi State, and they're just bludgeoning of LSU, who just quit about halfway through the second half of that game last night as well. Some really good individual performances from players that you should know about on teams that you might not know a ton about.
No doubt. The best of the worst showed up last night. I mean, and all day yesterday, too, man. I was joking with you guys earlier. I was just like, we might as well start calling the SEC tournament the Mississippi State Invitational at this point. I know. It still stings from last year.
No, it's not that. It's just like, it's crazy how they come out of the gates so fast in Nashville.
It was. I ain't gonna lie to you, considering it was your backyard, Vanderbilt. I mean, I did not see that game going that way, but I should have listened to Ron Slay on the pregame. He spoke about it. He was like, man, he wasn't picking against Vandy fans. He was just saying with what they had and Trey Johnson and how he can play, the world deserves to see him play. I think Vandy makes the tournament. Texas needed that game more than anything last night as it pertains to them getting in. Their coach acknowledged it in the postgame interview that the SEC now desk had for him and everything, and he was slamming the table too, just as much as Ron Slay was yesterday.
Yeah, I love it in terms of this SEC tournament, and I have been to a couple different tournaments, but I will say, and I know Nashville is part of why it puts on a great show, but you have a team like the Texas Longhorns, mind you, who are in their first year in the SEC. I think we remember the football side of it, but sometimes people forget, basketball as well. So it's always fun to see some of these teams too. Oklahoma, new to the conference as well, come out here and get to experience. And also some fans now bringing over what they can experience in the SEC as hoops. It's top to bottom. I've said this all year long. It is just remarkable how many really talented teams are. But now in a tournament like this, you're able to see this firsthand. And you could see a Texas team make a deep run, right, in this SEC tournament, like Will was just saying, because there are so many guys that we don't even talk about on this show because we can't get to basketball all the time that are able to kind of show this now in front of all these other fans and teams.
Most recent update from Joe Lenardi at 7:30 p.m. last night is that Texas is the first team out of the NCAA tournament. So they have got a game against A&M on the line to make the NCAA tournament today. It doesn't get better than that.
It does.
That is the beauty of Power 5 conference tournaments in this sport, is when you get an essentially play-in game for the NCAA tournament at that point. Oklahoma in the last 4 in after their win yesterday. Joe Lenardi writing a good bet regardless, but this game puts them over the top that they won late last night against Georgia. So they appear to be safe. And Vanderbilt, not even on his last 4 buys. It does look like Vandy will avoid Dayton and avoid the first 4.
Okay.
And I would imagine be a 9 or a 10 seed. If I'm Vandy, I'd rather be a 10.
Me too.
Give me a little bit of a tougher matchup in the first round to avoid playing a 1 seed in the second round.
Oh, yeah, that get ugly right there. Just a bad showing from them, man. I expected a little bit more. watching them. But here's what I will tell you: they're tenacious as hell. That's the way they play defense and get after you at times too. It was fun watching them. It's just that Trey Johnson just led yesterday. They shot and made the shots that they needed to, and as you said earlier, they attacked them on the boards way better early.
Yep. Arkansas getting the win over South Carolina yesterday. They are safe, according to Joe Lenardi. So John Calipari, after all that, to start the season, will be in another NCAA tournament. They get Ole Miss today. Yeah. Texas gets Texas A&M. Then you've got Missouri, Mississippi State, which will be outstanding on the 6 o'clock game in primetime tonight. And then at 8:30, Kentucky fans, start drinking your coffee now.
It's a late one, man.
Just you pace ourselves, guys. You are running mile about 3 of a 26.2 mile marathon. Tonight, you'll get through about the 10th mile marker, or you might just finish the whole race and drop out if you get beat by Oklahoma. But let's pace ourselves today, Kentucky fans, because I know you're out there. I know you're here, and I certainly know you're listening.
Well, and it's wild, too, because the first 2 games yesterday, they were longer games. So there wasn't a lot of break time between that first and second session. Yeah. So, Kentucky fans, you better cross your fingers that things go maybe a little quicker.
Save the liquor and the tequila for at least just the evening session.
I know.
We could have some mimosas. We could have maybe some light lagers.
Go to brunch instead of breakfast.
Brunch would be great.
You should still be laying down right now.
Yeah. For sure. Don't be up yet. Go back
if you're listening to us right now, respectfully, no, I'm just kidding.
Just keep it on in the background.
The lights are off and you're just chilling. You're hibernating.
Pace yourselves, man. But Calipari, man, you knew eventually he was going to turn it on. And look, that's all he wanted to solidify himself for recruiting moving forward right now, too. Afterwards, Jonas Adu had a welcome back to the state, not necessarily to the city of Knoxville, but had a welcome back, man. And he even went on the big desk yesterday coming off the bench for them, man. He played really well for them. They're bigs as of late. By the way, Arkansas Razorback, I didn't know we could do this. I didn't know we could do it. I'm not sure if y'all saw it. I think we all did.
Yeah, I did.
They posted Ron.
They did?
Slay.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, wait, hold up. He's ours, first and foremost.
I know.
But I guess now he's just
commodity.
He's a chameleon to every university now at this point. But with that being said, that was a dope edit that they had for Ron, and he's been huge on their bigs right now. Adu's been holding his own there, coming off the bench, man, and they are rim protectors the way you want them to. Arkansas eventually is going to get it together. DJ Wagner, watched his dad come up. I don't know what's his future as far as going into the NBA, but it is fun watching him, man. He's competitive as heck. You can tell he's got a dad who was a former pro that pushed him in a certain way.
I love it. Q asks, can you host the show at Bridgestone tomorrow? We are Inside Cats.
I just answered
We are being kept inside. I was on with 3HL for one segment yesterday. They yanked me on air, which was very fun. And we talked about Cam Ward. We talked about the Titans and all these things. But, we're Inside Cats.
I can only imagine.
I wish we could.
Outside
That's all
cats.
I can say. I wish we could.
I'm going to be real with you. I don't want to go over there that early. I'm going to be real with you. I get it.
I also follow that up with the show is very early.
Yeah, the show is very early.
It prevents us from really doing that.
Yeah, man.
We're happy to support our teammates and be Inside
Speaking of
Cats.
Nashville, Jay Billis just walking down the street yesterday.
Yeah, I thought it was telling how good the SEC is that you had Dan Schulman, Jay Billis on SEC tournament this year instead of ACC tournament. I do hate that for Tom Hart, who I think is tremendous play-by-play broadcaster who's done the whole SEC season.
Right.
I hate that he doesn't get the opportunity to now finish the job. And Alyssa Lang, too, I think does an outstanding job on sidelines. No disrespect to Schulman and Billis and that crew. You've got outstanding broadcasters doing this tournament.
It was cool watching them. I was like, hold up, I know that face. That's Jay Billis. Well, I'd also just seen, Ron Slay, and I guess I shouldn't have been as surprised. So
star-studded.
I was I ain't gonna lie, I was starstruck by that one.
Glasses on and everything,
and he looked just like what he's supposed to look like on how Jay Billis look on TV. Is what he looked like in person. I was surprised by that. I don't know why. I did.
Honestly.
He was taller than I thought too. Yeah, taller. Had some Jordans on.
The bracketology for Tennessee still has the Vols in the East region with Duke.
Take that.
Coming for you, Don Davenport.
Babs.
Iowa State would be the Vols 3 seed, which is the lowest ranked 3 seed. And then Maryland would be their 4 seed. It'd be great to be the first ranked team that Duke has played since they played Auburn early in the year. So, spin zone. 615-737-1045 is our number as we transition into the second half of the show. Mac Jones is not going to be a Titan. Kevin Zeitler is. We'll catch you up on the headlines coming up next. 8:02 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Will Bowling. The Titans bolstering their offensive and defensive lines yesterday on the offensive side with free agent guard Kevin Zeitler signing a one-year, $9 million deal with the team. He joined the Lions as an unrestricted free agent on a one-year deal last offseason after playing his first Pro Bowl season with the Ravens in 2023. The Titans also added pass rush help, adding Seahawks edge Draymond Jones to a one-year, $10 million deal, according to Adam Schefter. Jones had 4 sacks last season and a career-high 6.5 sacks for the Broncos in 2022. Trade news for the Titans as well yesterday as they sent Kenneth Murray and a 7th-round pick to the Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. The Titans essentially moving up close to 50 spots in the NFL draft's third day this upcoming offseason. The 26-year-old Murray had a career-high 3.5 sacks at inside linebacker last year, in addition to 95 tackles. Free agent quarterback Mac Jones will not be a Titan. He agreed to a 2-year, $7 million deal with the 49ers yesterday. The Jags went 2-5 in his starts last season, averaging just 15 points per game. Both of those wins were against the Tennessee Titans. In hoops last night, Mississippi State rolled LSU 91-62, setting up a matchup with Missouri later this evening. And Oklahoma takes a massive step toward an NCAA tournament berth with an 81-75 win over Georgia. They will get Kentucky in the late game tonight. The day begins in Bridgestone Arena today with Arkansas Ole Miss at noon, followed by Texas A&M Texas around 2:30. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. And we're into the second half just like that. On your Friday Junior, Thursday morning, RKW crew all here in studio. And you can go by your favorite Scooters Coffee location at White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. I've got Scooter Doodle going again this morning.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You've got it as well? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Ramon's got the house blend.
I got the house blend
today.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Wait, did you
Can you have
do
any
the pod?
flavor notes?
I did do a
us?
pod.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to go do a pod. I mistakenly, no, I did it on purpose just to see if it was terrible. I went and tried the other brand this morning.
Still fantastic?
No, it was still fantastically bad is what it
Ew.
was.
The other
okay.
brand, not
the other
Scooter
brand, not Scooter.
Starts with an F.
Yeah,
You wanted to compare and contrast. And you
I
are
did.
even more confident now in our outstanding coffee partner.
I poured out the other cup is what I'm telling
There we
you.
go.
That's what we want.
Yeah, that's what I was
And it
yes.
wasn't
Exactly
one-
what we want.
Yes, Justin.
Poured
yes,
one out
Justin.
for the homies.
Justin also had his first experience yesterday, too. We spoke briefly about it, man. Justin's getting conditioned is what we call it. It's like training camp for Justin right now. New producer, J-Hawk, said he fell asleep in his seat yesterday at the SEC tournament.
Did he really?
Yo, put me
Welcome
on
to the
blast.
morning show.
Wow.
Welcome to the
Early
morning
mornings are
show.
still a struggle.
Yeah.
Man, you get this.
It
Let
always
this
will
also
be.
be a lesson that telling Ramon information that compromises you
Right?
will make it to the airwaves publicly.
Hey, bring you down and lift me up, baby. That's
Right?
what I'm telling. No, it's because I've been there. You know how many movies I finished in like theaters though? When that blue light.
Theaters?
Okay. Okay, Ripley, Tennessee.
Theaters.
I know. Oh, no. Man, I've gone into movies before and be intentional about wanting to watch it. 45 minutes in, your boy sleep. I'm telling you. Yeah. And Keisha hit me, you sleep? You know damn well I'm asleep. You just want to
If
play
you're
right
asking,
now.
you know.
Exactly.
Don't have to ask.
Exactly, man. So how was it? You get a good nap?
No, I tried my very best. It was like 10:40, and there was like a minute left in the game, and I'm just sitting over there.
Jeez.
Which game?
Like,
The
come
first
on,
game or
like,
the
wake
second
up.
game?
Yeah, it was 10:40 at night.
Yeah, it was 10:40 last night in the Georgia
Damn.
and Oklahoma game. It was a good game too, and I'm
was
over
there,
here
too.
just like fighting it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Late.
You lose that battle 9 times out of 10. You
do.
might
Yeah.
beat it once.
I am conditioned and used to this at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And I'm
Sure.
also young and dumb enough to where I can just be right back at it.
Facts. I missed
I'm
those.
I had
enjoying
those
those
moments.
days. I'm enjoying those days while I
Yeah.
still can before Father Time shuts me down.
I think
on
it's
that
being
front.
30 for me.
It'll
It's only been a couple days, and it's
Okay.
already just tough.
Yeah, you missed Justin's birthday. This
That was your birthday?
Yeah, it was
You
his
were
birthday.
you were out.
Man, I ain't even get a chance to celebrate.
30,
with-
baby.
Really? 30 is overrated. There's nothing crazy about 30.
I'm disappointed.
Oh, my bad. I got
Not
you. We'll
mad,
figure
just
something out.
disappointed. Yeah.
I'll bring out, never mind. I won't say it on there.
Bottle of something. Yeah, there you go.
Gonna bring a pop-up out of a cake for Justin, man. It's all it's your birthday. We'll figure something out. We're gonna throw some ones,
the birthday
maybe.
cake.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Maybe
who's
it's
gonna
Kevin
pop out?
Zeitler, new Tennessee Titans
There
right
you go.
guard.
That'd be a big cake to
Pro
me.
Football Focus had him as their 5th highest grade guard in the NFL last year. Interesting. So I was reading Mike Payton at A to Z Sports. We had him on the show last year when the Titans were interviewing Aaron Glenn. I wanted the Lions' perspective on Kevin Zeitler. And I think people in Detroit are a little surprised, to be quite honest
He
with
didn't
you,
come back.
that he is gone. So they drafted Christian Mahogany, Boston College, I believe, product.
Yep.
Or, no,
Sure
or
was.
was he UConn?
No, UConn. It was
UConn.
UConn. Yes,
I got it right the
UConn.
second time.
Yeah.
Graham Glasgow wasn't at his best last season, Mike Payton writes. Rookie Christian Mahogany looked really good when he stepped in as a relief guy. The belief is that he could take the starting job moving forward. Zeitler got injured in Week 18 in the win over the Vikings, missed the playoff loss to the Commanders. But GM Brad Holmes had made it known later that week that the Lions had already begun talks bringing him back. They wanted him back, by all accounts. They just weren't able to get anything done, is what Mike Payton wrote at AtoZSports.com yesterday. It feels like one of those situations, too, right, where he was Boston College, actually. I was right the first time.
He was Boston College? I thought it was UConn. Who was the UConn guard last year?
There was a
I got you.
UConn guard last year. Dang it.
I know it, too.
Dang it. It's fine.
UConn guard draft.
We're majoring in the very, very, very small minutia this morning.
This is on me.
Amateur hour for me. But anyway, you can always imagine, like, oh, this is a good team. Why don't they want him back? That's where they
Christian Haynes.
Christian Haynes. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. I've done so many PFF mock drafts over these last 5 years that I've picked all these guys at some point.
Haynes went to Seattle.
That's right.
81st.
There you go.
There we go. All right, now back on schedule.
Back at it. Anyway, they wanted him back. They drafted a young guy. It was time to put him in. There's no red flag that a contending team didn't want this guy back. It was just time for them to move on, and clearly they still had interest in him.
You know, I wonder what played a part in this. One I saw was reported yesterday. Zeitler has family here.
Yeah, he has connections.
Has connection. It wants to work
nice.
with Coach
Cool.
Bill Callahan also. That was a part of it. And then on top of that, too, the other part, when you're good, Ben Johnson's no longer there. Uncertainty possibly with the
that's fair.
offense.
Fair.
That plays a part in it. The defensive coordinator is gone too. I'm not sure if Detroit can run him back again the way they did, considering how unique or how good everybody says Ben Johnson is. So you somewhat balance that. Come to Tennessee and help reset this organization right here too. It seems to me like a business decision was made. The other part of it is they have a very paid offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
He might have only got offered 7 there. I say only 7, like we're talking about $7.
$7
mil.
million.
$7 million.
But with that being said, players think about this. He's been in the league about to be 14 years. You think about all those scenarios when it comes down to the coordinator and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love it. I know it's a 1-year deal, but that is kind of the way that Borgonzi and staff are building up this team right now, and they said that up front. But it's a veteran lineman who has been readily available. He has been consistent in his play, which is another thing that these Titans are looking for this year. And I just think that veteran side to the leadership is going to play a huge part this year because Dan Moore has that, and he's not even that old. He's 26 years old. We're talking about a guy who is almost 35, and
Getting
clearly
to it.
is going to be able to bring another level of that with some younger guys, especially the guy right next to him in J.C. Latham. I think that is something that might be even underestimated when you talk about this signing. He is a football guy through and through. I know Buck tweeted this out, and I think originally it was Robert Griffin III that put this out, but it is awesome if you go to Twitter and look at this. He was doing pass sets, practicing them, when his wife was in labor
Yeah, I
last
saw
year.
that.
And it is
remember that last year.
incredible video. And I remember, I do remember it circling last year. We talk about football guys, and I just think this is the perfect fit to what you want on this line with the Bill Callahan. And again, that's probably another reason why you look at the full picture and coming to a room that has him as your guy, as your line coach. I don't think anyone's going to pass that up either as part of it.
Culture setter and veteran leadership, critical right now, not just for the O-line, but for the entire offense.
Yeah.
And, I think for fans who are concerned about his age and about how long he can stick around. You are young at all 4 other spots on the offensive line. It is a good thing having a veteran who can teach those guys how to be pros.
Yep. And then again, too, a guy in his position, Pro Bowler, been around the league and been in some good spots too, some football cities, man. His, to me, is my biggest conversation, his management of his reps in practice. I want to see if they do go get a young interior offensive lineman, put that guy up against Jeff every single day. Him and Jeff battling daily. I mean, give me one-on-one, do the team periods here and there, but save him for the season is how I view that one.
To the phone, 615-737-1045. Mike, first up this morning. Hey, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Ramon. I got one for you. Since Titans are signing local products, we signed the Ravenwood receiver. I've got a 2-year-ago Pro Bowler, second team All-Pro, Clarksville Northeast product. And if VFL and Jalen Reeves-Maven team him up with Bones Fossil, tell me what you think would happen.
Hey, man, don't you dare tempt me. Don't do that. And it's
Thank you,
not
Mike.
because he's just a Vol either, okay? Put that out front first.
Special teams ace.
Ace.
Yeah.
He demands a lot of respect. He's very respected around the league. If I'm not mistaken, he was a captain up in Detroit this past year. He's gotten it out of the mud, man. I remember when he went there, did Jalen go undrafted also, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken? Undrafted. I had coaches ask me,
I'll double-check that.
I didn't know he was going there. I was like, listen, he's been playing well. And, the role that he will be in, you get leadership, you get special teams, you get
He was 4th rounder.
he was a
right?
4th rounder.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, he's a guy that
mistake.
I would trust. You want to talk about trust and grit and hard work? He fits that mold to me. Absolutely would sign up for that one.
I mean,
Just
he's
as a
going to make
football
special
player.
teams better
Yeah.
immediately.
And he's what? He's
Yes.
30. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
If Bones Foster's the coach, I think he is. They at least got to kick the tires on a
Sure.
guy like him. I don't think he went through anything traumatic last year that stops him from advancing as player, continuing to play, especially in the roles he's got to play.
Honestly, he is what you hope James Williams can become as well. Of a really rangy, athletic inside linebacker that can cover a little bit if you need him to in a pinch, but is going to be a special team stud. You hope James Williams can step in and be a coverage, third guy, nickel specialist. Jalen is more of a special teams guy, but
is.
again, you talk about culture setters, you talk about good dudes to come in and be influential in the locker room. Certainly.
Resetting that
You'll never
unit.
hear a bad thing about that.
I mean, think about the issues that unit had last year. You know?
Totally.
and when they finally brought in some veterans late in the season, you started to see it change
The
a little bit because you
production.
had somebody to kind of set the tone there.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
Jalen Reeves-Maven. That makes
Taylor on
sense.
Facebook writes in all caps, says, Will, smile. He's unfamiliar with resting bowling face.
I was going to say, I don't know about your
Resting.
RBF. Do that.
Resting bowling face.
Yeah.
that is funny.
Very much a thing.
Yeah, he's not mad. He
Yeah.
just looked like that all the time. I promise you, he laughs often.
I'm just still mad. No, honestly, no. In all seriousness, I'm not smiling because Brent Doherty yesterday on 3HL said, all right, go back and watch your Commodores.
Oh, no, he did.
Made me feel sick
Mayor's
inside.
a menace. Get him out of public
And I told him,
spaces.
I said, no, I'm here cheering for fake UT, along with
Where
Tavondre
did
Sweat.
Mayor go to school?
UT.
University
he
of
did.
Tennessee at Knoxville.
I
He's got
never-
a building named after his family
Hey,
up on
his
the hill.
granddaddy name on the
I
bill.
never
Doherty
really
Engineering.
know what he's tied to. I knew he was a Vols fan, but I didn't know he technically played
absolutely.
there.
Yours a
So-
V.
He was there for the prime days when you wanted to be in school there. I got Jarrett Garantano. He got Peyton Manning.
Didn't he spend like 8
Must be
years
nice.
at UT also?
Respectfully to Jarrett, who's a good guy.
Did Mayor spend like 8 years at UT?
I think he mentions the victory lap time to time, yeah.
Okay. Couple victory laps.
Just
I don't know
wanted-
if 8 years is really fair, but that's kind of
8
crazy.
years. I was like,
That's what he give him mess when
Dang,
you talking
how
about some
old
go
is he
watch the
now?
Commodore.
Brent and I both had the luxury of being able to look up and see our last names when we walk around campus. I can see Thompson Bowling Arena. He can see the Doherty Engineering Building.
there you go.
Hey,
fantastic.
man. Yes.
Can't
I
like
thought-
us.
I thought he spent like 7 years.
Couldn't be my building. I don't know.
It wasn't 9 years.
7. All right. Coming up next, the Titans are building a pretty solid offensive line. Are they building it for Cam Ward? And if so, what the heck do you do with Will Levis now? We'll talk about that next.
When couples walk into Genesis Diamonds, their eyes get big, man. It's a mind-blowing display of sparkling jewelry with literally thousands of choices when it comes to engagement rings. All the styles she's seen online are right there in person for you. But the experts at Genesis make them feel totally at ease. They're offered a beverage. This is very true. They're asked a lot of questions about their taste and style. They're given a no-holds-barred education seminar, and they're even told the secrets of the jewelry business. The consultants at Genesis are not on commission either. These are not retail clerks. They're not transaction focused. They can spend 30 minutes with you or they can spend 3 hours with you. It doesn't matter. You can see dozens and dozens of diamonds in an array of sizes and shapes and colors and color grades. You can see handcrafted rings from all the top designer that other stores can't even carry. You can see the difference between a diamond that is properly cut and one you might find in one of those online places. The differences, they will blow you away. Bottom line, Genesis will take away all the risk, all the mystery, all the confusion, and help you make a decision that you will be confident in for years to come. Genesis Diamonds, a true direct importer with rock bottom prices and a luxury experience. No compromises. Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW is brewed by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone as we continue here in hour number 3. And I have been very active in the commercial break.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the Titans and if they are building an offensive line for Cam Ward. But our last caller, Mike, got me thinking about building a local football team. So I have built an entire starting lineup of Tennessee-based high school football players this morning. The problem is we don't have a quarterback. Well, we do. We don't have a great quarterback. If on a technicality, I could go with Trevor Lawrence because he was born in Knoxville.
Oh, that's right.
Trevor Lawrence. He just did not play Tennessee high school football.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Might be
that counts.
stretching it.
I think that is not available to me. We also don't have tackles. There are no offensive linemen. So somebody might have to go both ways. Maybe I could just put in Ramon at right
that's
tackle.
Ramon.
Hold up. Technically,
If you're willing to
Trey was a tackle coming out. Number 1, Smith. If you want to do it,
I could.
Yeah.
if you want to play that, you could switch it around because guards, we got
that's-
plenty. Or
He wasn't
we do.
technically coming out.
You know what? No. Okay, no, I found another one. Hold on, I'm good.
all right,
I'm
come
good.
on.
I had to make sure this guy was still in the league and was still playing tackle.
All right.
Because I think in the draft it was possible he could get moved. All right, I need a corner and an outside linebacker is all that I'm missing right now. So anyway,
Maybe the chat will help us out.
getting
Or caller.
started, and I know we're gonna get tweeted like, what about this guy? I know, I get it. Michael Penix also another option at quarterback. He was born in Cookeville, which I totally
Yeah.
forgot about. Totally forgot about.
Wow.
Also, just learning that Jalix Hunt is a Memphis product, which no idea. But again, didn't go to a Tennessee high school. So here's what I have so far. Again, I love this exercise because I'm just a nerd for Tennessee high school football. CJ Beathard is our quarterback. Battleground Academy, BGA.
Okay.
We are set at running back, and I mean loaded. Tony Pollard, Kenneth Walker III, and Jordan Mason.
My
That's
goodness.
a stable of backs.
I live that
That's
life right
legit.
there.
Jordan Mason representing Gallatin and Middle Tennessee. Tony Pollard and Kenneth Walker III representing West Tennessee. Our wide receivers, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I saw one of these wide receivers play. He plays corner now, but he played wide receiver. T. Higgins is our number 1. I've got Jalen Ramsey playing both ways. All right, buddy. You are our Travis Hunter. You are going to play both ways.
Look at that.
In addition to a stable of wide receivers of Jawan Jennings of Blackman High School, Calvin Austin III from Harding Academy in Memphis, and Van Jefferson, Tennessee Titan from right here. And
Real
Ravenwood
quick,
High School
somebody,
Grove.
I got to ask you about this submission, though, real quick, from TNT Titan in the chat. What about Jalen Hurts?
He's not still in the league.
Not
He's
still in the league.
So they have to be in the league?
Cool,
I'm
cool,
trying to do
cool,
guys
cool.
that are
Okay.
still playing
I'm cool
right
with that.
now.
Okay.
I'm good with
Gotcha.
that.
Is
All
it, I mean, he was on a. I think he's done.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I think he's a
done.
few years done.
He
And
announced his
also-
retirement in 2023.
He ended up moving back to, he ended up moving to tight end in the league. And also, LaMarcus Coker never made it to the NFL either.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Our tight end is Dawson Knox.
Oh, yeah.
Our
Obvious.
offensive line, I had to move some things around a little bit. So
Let me
I'm
hear it.
kicking Cade Mays back out to tackle.
Okay.
Shaq Mason and Trey Smith are our guards.
like that.
And Graham Barton, rookie for the Tampa Bay
I like
Buccaneers,
that.
Ravenwood Raptor,
Nice.
is our center.
Big center, too.
By the way, I could have thrown Ty Chandler in there of NBA, also as another running back, special teamer, kick returner, Ty Chandler. Our right tackle, Obena Easy, deep cut, TCU Frog,
Dang.
Davidson Academy.
Okay.
Nice.
DA?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, called a lot of his games. He's
Nice.
good.
I don't want to sound so
Big guy.
surprised, Davidson Academy.
So,
My apologies. I just didn't know your style.
D tackle, I'm going nickel as our base defense. Zion Logue of Lebanon and Quentin Bohanna of Cordova, our
Bohanna.
defensive tackles.
Yep.
Derek Barnett on one edge. I don't have another edge rusher.
You got another edge?
I'll work on that.
There's got to be.
Jalen Reeves-Maben and Tyrell Dotson are going to cover a lot of ground at inside linebacker. Jalen Reeves-Maben of Clarksville Northeast, Tyrell Dotson of Centennial. At corner, Jalen Ramsey, our Travis Hunter here in Tennessee. My nickel, I'm moving him from safety, Theo Jackson.
All right.
Just
Oh,
got
yeah.
a deal in Minnesota.
Good for Theo.
Playing safety there.
Used to be a Titan.
Nickel guy.
Okay.
Alante Taylor, another corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then your safeties are decent. Harrison Smith and Von Bell. solid.
I didn't realize Von Bell
Very
was from
solid.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
his recruitment, because he committed to Ohio
State guy.
State,
Yeah.
but there was, you almost didn't because he was so close to going to Tennessee.
He won a
Like
championship
that was
there.
oh, believe me, I know. It was he is on the long list of. We could also make a lineup of players that Tennessee was their second choice.
Yeah.
And that would be an all-pro lineup.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just need an edge rusher. We have a full
You
starting
need an
lineup.
edge? God,
I
I'm
totally
looking through the list.
torpedoed what
Give
we're
us
about
a
to
call
do, and I don't care. I love
if
this.
you have one.
This makes me so happy.
That was dope right there, Will.
If I can
Full squad.
take
It
Jalen
is.
Hunt, who was born in Memphis and played high school football in South Carolina, that would count.
That
or
would
we could
count.
bring Darren Bates out of retirement. move
I
him
saw
outside
Bates on the
linebacker.
list too.
Batesy.
Anyway,
Where's he from? Technically, in Tennessee.
Memphis.
Memphis. Oh,
Okay.
you know it. Hear him talking.
I-
Memphis.
Dude, he was so fun to cover in that locker room,
Big
man.
time. Well, I heard a lot
if
of
you could
folks
hear over
hated
his
him because
music,
how he
if you
went.
could hear
I
over his
loved it.
music, he was fun.
I loved
You could
it.
hear what he's saying.
It was great.
Anyway, are the Titans building an O-line for Cam Ward?
Yeah.
It feels that way, doesn't
it? feels
it?
that way now at this point. Yeah.
I am more comfortable today putting Cam Ward behind the Titans' offensive line significantly more than I was even 3 weeks ago at this point. It feels like they are gearing everything up for a rookie quarterback to come in here and probably play a lot of football behind this line next season, right?
Yeah, no, it does at this point. Like I said earlier, I feel more confident about those two additions that they've made so far, specifically moving JC over. If it goes through and nobody ends up on our moving JC over to the right side with Zeitler, Cush back at some point, Peter and JC. Like that right there is a line that you say to yourself, yeah. That's something you can build on right there. Now, again, coming together, understanding the offense, how you get rid of the football, running game, and stuff like that plays a part in it too. But that solidifies the option that, look, if you go after rookie quarterback in Cam Ward, you have the ability to at least know he's going to be protected.
I would like for that to be the case. Absolutely. That would be exactly
you
what.
would love that to be the case.
I mean, I just said I would like for that to be the case, yes, but I don't know if this front office is giving us much in terms of like what we can expect out of them. I feel like they've been sneaky, they've been tight-lipped. I think this is the obvious like choice if I were to be management and being able to decide things, but I'm clearly not. And I just feel like there is still an opportunity that they could possibly trade down and, get some more picks because that has been their mission, and possibly start Will Levis. They still probably are going to bring in another quarterback at some point. I do not want them to do that. Let me make that clear. But I also don't want to be completely surprised if this does not happen and they don't draft Cam Ward. So I'm preparing myself for another scenario to happen because no matter what, you guys, they had to beef up the offensive line.
Preparing for heartbreak.
It does not matter what quarterback you put behind that line. It had to be improved. And that was the first thing that Mike Borgonzi came in here and said from the jump. And so it doesn't fully convince me 100% that they're drafting Cam Ward. It looks to be that way. It's, I think, the best decision. But I am going to just keep in the back of my mind, there is maybe a chance that they could do something else.
Is it a reach if they go after Shador? Is the question.
At
Probably,
At
because
one.
if you're not going to, I think Cam's the obvious choice. And if you've, looked around and listened to other people break it down, it doesn't have to be just our opinions. That seems to be the choice as well. Again, you can have your own thoughts out there, whatever you want, right? But I think if you're going to pick from one of the quarterback, I do feel Cam has separated himself from the pack.
The only reason I bring it up is sometimes you go with who you love more than anything. Like if a guy,
Right.
if you believe in the coach and
Sure.
and this rebuild is going to be long, and you got an opportunity to kind of let this thing grow.
Yeah.
Like, do you go after the one that's the best prospect, or do you go after the one you love in that sense? And right now, Shador's slipping. I'm not even sure where his stock is at this point. I just know it's Cam and everybody else. But it seems to me, the conversation inside the building is a little bit of just like, well, some like Shador, some like Cam. And picking at number one, do you go for what is the value of what they're rated at, or do you go at what's going to work for your team? Because that plays a part in it too. The 49ers, for instance, have tried to work time and time again from Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and a multitude of other quarterbacks before finding their guy in Brock Purdy. Now, the other side of that is having a phenomenal play caller in Shanahan. The weapons they surrounded him by plus protection played a huge part in that also, and they've made Brock Purdy valuable. And that's where I'm going into at least having a conversation and not being Captain Obvious and saying, yes, it's Cam, because a lot can happen on game night. I mean, on draft night. So do you go at that point after the one that you love specifically? Because, I mean, these guys are who they are at a point, and it's a matter of who the coaches and staff feel like is going to make this franchise that much better.
Yeah, and I think, and that's a great point. And I think, though, the difference with this team, too, is I think Callahan, we don't know exactly what he wants, right? We know that Joe Burrow is more similar to kind of a Shador Sanders in terms of working in his system. And he has said that, not us. Mm-hmm. So we could maybe then look at that and say he would maybe want Shador more, right? However, he has also come out and said it shouldn't matter what fits into my system. We need to take the best available guy, or the guy that, has the highest ceiling. But I think this isn't really all his decision, guys. I think that Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker have the ultimate say in if they do take the quarterback, who the quarterback will be. And again, we don't know exactly who that is, too. We've had hints at what they'd like, but they've been so close-lipped on it. Even the visits, guys, we heard nothing coming out of Cam's visit, and
We've
really
heard they went well.
Not much coming out of Shador's visit on Monday, which was, by the way, very downplayed. I don't know why we didn't. I recently heard
Shador killed it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
I've seen reports. I think Easton Freeze had it out there that both visits went well. Like, they're not going to give us any other details.
I would.
There's never been a visit in the moment where they tell you it went poorly. Like, even, I'm sure, out of the Texans visit with C.J. Stroud last year.
Yeah, there's just
that notoriously went very poorly, was that I'm sure it went well.
There hasn't been a lot coming out of this camp in general about anything, right?
I mean,
it's been very tight. So it's hard for us to exactly know what they're wanting to do.
It does feel like they took last season's offensive line personally. I don't think it really tips their hand a ton about who's playing quarterback. Because, man, it just feels like they have decided, like, all right, we can't really judge this coach with how bad the line was last year and the pieces he was given. So does that mean this quarterback that played last year named Will Levis also deserves a chance to be fairly judged behind a good offensive line?
I was going to bring that up.
Like, does Will Levis deserve a chance to play behind competent offensive line play?
Because there's two conversations been had. Ours that we have as sports media here in the city, and others around the country too. They got NFL teams. And then there's also how they feel about them on the inside of that building. Like, Callahan I've said early this offseason, Callahan has pretty much said, like, his conversation sounds like he's out on Will Levis. But a lot can change with a new GM in Borgonzi, and they've said they're going to take this process slow. What's good for us may not be good for the guys that's making these decisions. That's the only pushback on, like, because I had people, I'm doing my Pittsburgh stuff yesterday, and they're asking me about Will Levis.
Right.
Like, there's a market, I think, there for him. And maybe the idea of him having a reset of team culture and cities is probably going to be best for Will Levis moving forward. Heck, at this point, Kenny Pickett's on this other team.
So, agree or disagree? If the Titans draft Cam Ward, they have to get rid of Will Levis.
Agreed.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I think they do at this point. I think that, and I said that from the jump this offseason, guys. I said, I think they need to cut ties with Will Levis, just for the fact that I think it just brings too much of the old regime back in. They've cleared a lot of house, guys. They really have. They've purged a lot of this roster. And I think that is to, in a way, disconnect also from the past, but also set your sights on the future and building a base. Doing a lot of these one-year contracts. I think this is part of that reset, though, too, that I think you should do. I don't know if they're thinking along the same lines.
Sure.
This isn't Borgonzi's guy at all either. So I do think the best thing to do is cut ties, and I'm with Ramon. I think there will be a team that absolutely looks at him as a project and will want to be all up in that in terms of giving him a chance to at least try to be a starter.
There is no scenario where you draft Cam Ward and keep Will Levis.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that works out well.
I also believe they should keep him if they don't draft Cam Ward.
Sure.
I roll with you there.
I would agree with you on that.
Do you? We don't know this in the summer. If we ever get another conversation with Callahan, you got to ask the question: do you take part of the blame for Will Levis himself too?
He already has.
He has.
As far as
his interview with Easton at A to Z Sports,
I'm trying
to really good on YouTube.
Bits of it.
He's mentioned like we probably miscast him early in the season in a lot of ways in terms of just like building things that were best for him versus trying to fit him into the system. And I think that's a give and take with any player in this league, right? Like there has to be that tug of war of I want to coach you into what I think the ideal insert position here player looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also I've got to adjust to what you as a player do well.
Right.
There's a balance there that they did not find until it was kind of too late.
They did not.
Yeah.
The other thing is he doesn't deserve a chance to play behind this line because linemen get worse when they play in front of Will Levis.
It's very true.
So this offensive line last season with 17 weeks of Mason Rudolph does not give up at least 8 to 10 of the sacks that they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difficult thing about judging this line. I don't think they were as bad as they look statistically other than Nicholas Petit-Frere.
Yeah.
I really don't. He was a
think that side
turnstile,
struggled.
but Will Levis made them worse. So no, it's not unfair to just say, Levis, you lost your chance. See ya. That's what they need to do. You cannot run it back and build a line for him. I believe they're probably building a line for Cam Ward, but either way, they clearly made this the priority. Mike Borgonzi, the first question he's been asked, the first thing he's answered for a while has been, no, we got to fix up front.
And real quick,
And they are.
if you look at him, he was sacked 41 times. That was 8th most last year. But you look at the quarterbacks above him, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, Joe
look at
Burrow,
Mason Rudolph in less
Sam
games.
Darnold, Geno Smith. Yeah, and what I'm saying is like sometimes you have to make something out of nothing. And he did none of that.
Yeah.
And probably, like Will said, made the line a little bit more worse.
Mason Rudolph played in 8 games and was sacked 11 times.
4 less than Levis. And you can also throw in one of those because the Miami game he played earlier, but they ain't really throw the ball like that. But still.
He was sacked 11 times in, let's see, so 228 pass attempts, 11 sacks. Will Levis, 301 pass attempts, 41 sacks.
Oh.
It was
That is
bad.
a significant difference.
Whoa.
He has lost his chance here.
Okay.
Will Levis has.
Real quick. For the people that are judging Dan, right?
Dan Moore.
Dan Moore. Can the same context be used on this sacks given up with who he was blocking for?
For Russell Wilson,
For
who's
Russell and
very
Justin
bad
Fields.
at avoiding
And you
sacks
kind
at
of
this point in his
mentioned
career.
that
I know,
he's not
but
the best at
I hear
getting
people.
out.
It's fascinating with this conversation on sacks because we'll
Right.
minimize Harold Landry's getting his, right? Oh, well, sacks don't matter. Well, when do they matter?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right. Exactly.
When do
There's
they
that.
matter?
Great point. They don't matter when the guy's over 28,
Or,
but they matter when the guy is making $24 million a
you
year.
see what I'm saying?
I get a little bit of the skepticism about Dan Moore.
100%.
But I do not understand the sky is falling. This is ridiculous. Fire everyone. Like what we literally got a fire Borgonzi tweet the other day.
I'm just, I don't know. It's weird.
Your thoughts next. 615-737-1045. Are the Titans building a line for Cam Ward, or does Will Levis deserve another shot to play behind him? We'll talk about it more next. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. You've heard me talk about how Lee Company is all you need for your home, but hey, they're also all you need for your facility. Business managers, I'm talking to you, facility managers. That's right. They're expert technicians on the facilities team. They have you covered, not just for HVAC, but for plumbing and electrical as well. From healthcare facilities to industrial and everything in between, Lee Company is available 24/7, 365 to keep your building running efficiently. So call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or contact them online at leecompany.com. Trust the folks who have been in business now in Middle Tennessee for over 80 years. They've been doing this since 1944 here in the area. They're open 24/7, 14 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama with over 1,000 vehicles in their fleet. They are there to help you when you need it the most. 615-567-1000. That's the number to call or contact them online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW brewed by Scooter's Coffee, wrapping up hour 3 this morning. Open for your reaction. Does Will Levis deserve an opportunity to play behind the new Titans revamped offensive line? We go first to Cousin P. First up. What's up, Cousin P? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. So y'all really took the words out of my mouth. Kayla, I think you started the conversation off with what I'm thinking. I personally believe that they are going to give Will Levis another shot, especially with an offensive line. I think he does have a lot of upside when it comes to the way he's perceived in terms of his talent, NFL level talent. And then we've heard Mike Borgonzi talk about him being aggressive, especially when drafting Patrick Mahomes in the past. So I do believe that if Will Levis does not work out after this season and we are looking at a top 5 pick again, I could see him, maybe even top 10. I could see him trying to say, hey, Arch Manning is right there. Let's see what we can do with it. So, I mean, it's kind of a win-win situation from that standpoint. So I guess we'll just wait and see. But I do think Abdul is the guy that we're going to end up ultimately going with. So love to hear what y'all think.
Thank you, Cousin P. Does the fact that it's Arch Manning available to you next year influence you at all this time around?
Does it influence you? There's no guarantee you're going to get them, but what I will say is what influence you is a group of quarterbacks. Like, teams that needed one in this year, if you had a top 10 pick, you can satisfy that. Like, the Raiders would have been able to satisfy their quarterback needs next year. And that's the only thing that's really appealing to me about it. It's a bigger group of quarterbacks coming out that are supposed to be higher rated. Now, again, a lot of these guys this year probably were going to start off with better ratings and it ended bad, like Jackson Dart. Like, some expect him to be a first-round pick.
Carson
not
Beck.
anymore.
Carson Beck.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
you know what I'm saying? Like, you just
hard to judge.
It's hard to judge. And now you got Carson Beck doing the what's the name? The Cam Ward watch. He's going right to Miami. Does his career go the exact same as his and turn into a top 10 pick too? So it's that side of it. And considering Carson Beck was a high-rated prospect coming out, but I just don't like the fact that he had to transfer to go play again. That's the other part for him with me.
Yeah, I don't think you, as an organization, especially if you're the Titans organization, I don't think you can look that forward to what you're doing and planning on doing. You have to live for what you're doing right now in this draft. And I don't think you can base on whether or not you're going to pick a quarterback this year is based on next year in terms of Arch Manning. That's just, business-wise, I don't know if they can do that.
The only thing that the Arch Manning decision changes is what you do with your future firsts. If you are the Giants, you can't offer a future first to the Titans.
Right.
Like, if you are the GM that misses out on Arch Manning, like, I genuinely believe that is a big, big reason why they're not going to give up a future first.
The payoff is to get Cam this year, right? Like, you get your guy.
It would be.
Like, the list of guys just in general right now, real quick, Arch Manning, Nico Iamaleava, Drew Aller, Lenore Sellers, Gus Nussmeier, Kay Klubnik.
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier. Sam Levitt, Arizona State.
Sam Levitt, I didn't know if we were putting him on.
I would.
There's a good bit of guys next year that you really just rub your head and say, that's why I'm asking the question, like, how fast of a process are they trying to get back on the tracks with?
I think it's so hard and dangerous to do that, though, sometimes.
It is. I
really
agree,
do,
because
guys.
this time last year we were saying, but next year you're going to have Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers. And where are those guys? Mm-hmm. I just wish I could draft Arch Manning now. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's so good. He's so good.
He fits a lot of what you want in a quarterback.
He's going to be such a star.
Somebody asked the other day, why so much on Arch Manning? Last name first. He's more athletic than each one of them. And then, of course, to your point, go watch him play. And he's 6'4". Like, we'll see. We will see.
I just want to see him play a full season. That's all. I mean, I don't want to make any, like, yes or no's. I get it. I get all the upside. Absolutely. I just want to see him play ball.
But here's the thing, though, too. With these guys that have been labeled year after year as being them, they have all answered the call, though, too.
Sure. So now I just want to see Arch. I just want to see him play a season. That's all I'm asking for.
I mean, I think he played in 11 games last year, Arch Manning.
But as a starter, you know.
I think he started 4 or 5. I don't know. I mean, I know it's not a lot. I mean, it's a fair point. But
let's wait and see.
I am all in. He is my Heisman pick. Texas is probably my early national champion pick. I think they totally explode next season. I really do.
This Andrew Luck of what his prospect is.
Maybe.
Essentially is what we're saying. I mean, at this point.
Did Luck have that much on him, though, in terms of, I mean, he didn't have a name.
I think it's more Trevor Lawrence in terms of what he was as a five-star high school quarterback, being a major prospect, or honestly, Caleb Williams.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you're talking about those level guys that were him in high school and then were him in college.
Right.
And then became,
Manny's
question mark. And
Caleb Williams
level,
is another one that answered the call.
That's what I just said.
You said Caleb, my bad.
I think, too, the name, though, adds so much to, just what people want him to be, too. Like, that adds to everything else besides him just being a guy that was supposed to, do it in high school, did it in high school,
but
expected to do it at the next level.
My only pushback is he's done those things to this point. Now, granted, in college, as you mentioned, on a small sample.
It heightens with the name.
Oh,
the hype does. That's all I'm saying.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so it plays a part in it.
Exactly.
More of your phone calls. Bam and Chase will lead us off when we come back. 615-737-1045. Headlines and more of your reaction as we begin hour 4 next.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life.
It's Ramon Foster, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval, y'all, on this deal that could change your life. And I mean that, man. It's the behind-the-lines offer as the Titans reshape their offensive line. Well, this deal is you get a $37 consultation that includes a doctor's visit, x-rays if you need them, and your first treatment. If you need more in-depth treatment because you're part of the Zone family, they will give you 50% off spinal decompression treatment. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley just want you to get better. And they mean it. So it's not one of those institutes, man, or health facilities that, hey, they want you coming back time and time again as they can just keep logging bills. No, it's not that. They want to get you healthy, put you out on your own, and make sure that your back, neck, and just your body is aligned. All right, no more bulging discs, herniations, or spinal stenosis, man. This is what they do. They have some of the best technology and machines in their facility. They're state-of-the-art spinal decompression machines, the best. Even I've gone on it, man. So start your road to a pain-free life. And it is possible because I have. Call today, the Wellness Institute of Nashville at 615-246-5009 or go to painisbad.com.
9:02 from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I'm Will Bowling. The big news yesterday for the Titans, the big people they signed. Kevin Zeitler, a one-year, $9 million deal with the Titans on the offensive line. Zeitler joined the Lions as an unrestricted free agent last offseason on a one-year deal after experiencing his first Pro Bowl season with the Ravens in 2023. The Titans also added pass rush help yesterday, adding Seahawks edge Draymond Jones to a one-year, $10 million deal, according to Adam Schefter. Jones had 4 sacks last season and a career-high 6.5 sacks with the Broncos in 2022. The Titans agreed to a trade yesterday, sending inside linebacker Kenneth Murray and a 7th-round pick to the Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. The 26-year-old Murray had a career-high 3.5 sacks last season at inside linebacker, in addition to 95 tackles. Free agent quarterback Mac Jones agreed to a 2-year, $7 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers yesterday. He completed 65% of his passes for 1,600 yards and 8 touchdowns, along with 8 interceptions for the Jags. In hoops last night, Mississippi State rolls LSU 91-62. Meanwhile, Oklahoma beats Georgia 81-75. They'll get Kentucky tonight. The day begins today. Coming up in just a couple of hours, Arkansas Ole Miss at noon, followed by Texas A&M Texas at 2:30. The night session sees Missouri, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma, Kentucky. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW is brewed up by Scooter's Coffee for one more hour on your Friday, Junior. 615-737-1045. We have had a fast morning today. 3 very quick hours. Coach Dave McGinnis in hour 2. We build a high school football Tennessee all-star team of current pros.
We still looking for
that I'm
going to
put out. I'm just moving Jalen Reese-Mabe into edge.
Hey, whatever you want.
JRM is an edge rusher, and Junior Colson will play inside linebacker instead of him. So
what you're saying is these in-state athletes that we need more DNs.
I'm at the tweet it out. Yeah, come on, high school coaches. Give me some edge rushers.
Seriously, not everybody's a D tackle, man. Move them boys out on the edge, man. Listen, I love old linemen too. Let that child be a DN. Exactly.
Come on.
Butt in the air, hand down. Let's go. Dig in the cleats.
I love it. Titans adding Kevin Zeitler, Draymond Jones yesterday. We're going to get into in 15 minutes the remaining needs and where you address them. Play a little game of draft, free agency, or both as we look at all of the positions on the roster. Of course, starting with quarterback, where you have now successfully avoided the Mac Jones and Zach Wilson experiences. Congratulations, everyone.
All that's left is Aaron Rodgers, baby. Let's go.
No.
Who's tied to Pittsburgh and everywhere else.
Praying that don't happen.
I would take Tennessee high school football all-star C.J. Beathard before I would do that.
I would give up a 7th-round pick that they don't have for Joe Milton at this point. Do you hear me?
There you go.
That's how you get aggregated on websites. He is a third-string quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Again, he has a market too, by the way. Like everybody's like, well, get that talent out of there. He's just going to waste away. Vrabel has he's got some leverage with that, I think.
Yeah, I think so
I wouldn't
too.
shock if they end up getting back a 4th round for a guy like him. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't agree with you on that
there.
I think Joe Milton could be had for a pick swap.
We think a pick swap?
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
How about Levis
that last
for Joe
game
Milton?
did a lot. Yes.
I would do Levis for Joe Milton and a pick.
And a pick?
Yep. If you gave me Joe Milton and a 6th-round pick, I'd give you Will Levis. But you'd have to add a pick in there. Yeah. I'm not doing straight up. No.
Vrabel loves him. I
know, right? That's what I'm saying. This might work out really well. I just thought about that. I'm like, this sounds great.
Oh, man.
What are we doing?
I would put this to a poll, but we are just going to be slammed as Vol homers.
You can say it was my idea, because technically it
Kayla
was.
said, yes.
Right,
throw Kayla on. Kayla said.
This isn't. They still got to draft a quarterback.
Of course, but
but
the
still,
idea that you.
Kayla's like, we're still getting Cam Ward.
See, then you guys
The
would be
groundwork has been
fulfilled.
laid.
I'd both be fulfilled. We'd all be fulfilled on
My
this
needs
show.
would not be fulfilled by trading for Joe Milton. No, just because he went to Tennessee does not mean I think he's perfect. By
No,
any
but I
means.
don't think I don't necessarily think he should be a third string. I do think he could be a backup in some places at some
I
point.
contend that I think he'll be a better pro quarterback than he was college. I do think
He already is.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I'm being
no.
again, halfway sarcastic, but yeah.
I do think that though,
get a
if
chance as a
given the
backup.
opportunity.
Yeah. Confusion in the F&M Bank chat this morning. BK writes in, says, Arch is not coming out next year. Do research, please. Okay, well, the research is that he is eligible next year. You only have to be in school for 3 years.
3 years.
This will be his third year.
So
You don't have to be a junior.
He redshirted.
Yeah.
Last year's a redshirt freshman. He can
That's
come
right.
out as a redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore.
That's how it works.
Thank you.
Who's at TK?
I don't know.
Yeah, that is how it works.
Now he
though.
doesn't have to come
Doesn't
out.
have to.
Yeah, you
But
can do whatever he wants.
He's making
he had a good
boatloads of
enough
bread.
season.
He has the option of seeing who finishes last. I mean, who finishes with the first round
Sure.
pick, first overall pick next year.
Yep.
Could you imagine a Manning Tennessee Titans jersey?
Oh my gosh.
That thing
When
would
the
go
new
triple
stadium
platinum
opens?
in every fraternity party in Knoxville, Tennessee for the foreseeable future. And just,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a football jersey guy. I would maybe even buy that jersey.
I'm not a football jersey guy either. I'm not buying.
I don't look good in them, and I'm too old to wear them, in my opinion, for myself, just speaking for me. But
Vandy, man, what are you talking about? Is this the
Me
same
excited.
Joe Milton UT fans ran off to Michigan? No, he came to
Michigan
us.
ran him off
Yeah,
to Tennessee.
Michigan came.
Yeah, Vandy, man,
He
you
was
worry about
first.
your basketball team in Bridgestone at home before you add us. And yes, TK, I know this is why y'all hate us Vols fans. This is what we do. Do you understand me? We want all nice things that are Vol related or Vol legacies. Yes, his last name is Manning.
Hey,
Guess what?
We're good. We're chilling.
Yeah, Ole Miss fans are probably
Ain't gonna
thinking the
bother us.
exact same thing, okay?
Yeah, that's
or
right.
worry about the Saints. The Saints would absolutely.
No, and that's a thing.
Ooh, that'd
That's
be-
a thing.
And that
down
is a
there.
thing, too?
100%.
My goodness, Manning comes marching in.
Yeah, listen, Manny come marching
Yeah.
in.
There you
Boy,
go.
That sells some tickets. Right?
Bam up next. 615-737-1045. What's up, Bam?
Yo, man, I cannot take another year 11.
Yeah, you
I can't do
can.
it.
Yeah, you can. Soon as they
No,
roll them
no,
out
no.
there, you can.
No, I can't. I literally, my heart can't take it. My mental can't take it. And I can't take Carson Wentz either. I cannot take Carson Wentz. I cannot take Will Levis. Listen, I will discontinue my membership, and y'all know how much I love my Titans.
Okay.
But I can't do it. Y'all remember last year how we kept rolling out with Joe Alt the whole time? Like, we thought that was the
Yeah.
whole thing, and then we get there, and it ends up being Latham.
Yep.
It almost feels the same way with Shador right now. It almost kind of feels the exact same way. Like, he's just went through the ringer that fell off. It's either Cam or Buzz. I don't want to close that door or people to be upset if that ends up happening. You know what I'm saying? Because this almost feels identical to what we did last year with that. But for the love of God, please don't take Will Levis. Please. My heart can't take it, man.
It can, Bam.
Thank you, Bam. I think you are right, but I think you are wrong on who the other player is.
Right. I think it's Abdul Carter.
I think it's Abdul Carter. That's why I refuse to just do Cam Ward no matter what and only make everything about Cam Ward all the time, is that this could very well still be Abdul Carter if they're not in love with Cam. I do not think Shador Sanders is a legitimate option at the number 1 overall pick as of today. I do not think that is a legitimate option.
That's why I was asking that question. Like, what if that's who they love, though? You know, like, do you move back and take him at that point? Because
It could be.
then Cam is gone, is what I'm saying.
I would be very surprised if they took Shador Sanders number 1, considering now what we know out of the combine about how these teams feel about him.
And I'll note, too, on that top 30 visit, when it came to Joe Alt and all of that stuff, too, is I know, like, the top 30 visits are huge. And, again, we don't know exactly what goes on, but they fell in love with J.C. Latham as well in that top 30 visit. Bill Callahan specifically. I mean, they spent like 2 hours together going over film. So there's a lot of things that can happen to make those type of decisions as well.
They could have fallen in love with Joe Alt too. They didn't pick him, so we didn't
absolutely.
And from my understanding and the conversation around him, Alt wanted to be here. They were set to take him, but the Chargers had a need too. So that's how it works out.
That might happen.
And there's also a situation too with him. He was a left tackle. Look at him; he goes to play right tackle for them. And at some point, he might transition over there. But this is definitely a fascinating approach to what this year is. Man, y'all can't be out here backtracking now. No, this is the Cam show. Stop.
It was Cam Ward no matter what. I mean, that's what it's been.
Don't do this.
You know, I've never been on that train.
And bam, you can stomach it because guess what? You're going to cheer for whatever the Titans roll out there. Stop. Where's my guy that went viral on the soft underbelly? No, you're not. No, you're not.
We did have a caller when you were gone that said there's nothing they can do that's going to really excite fans to put butts in the seats.
Yeah, they will. You know why? Because the shield is behind it. The NFL going to do
football.
Yes. We doing all these.
It's professional football. There are 32 cities with a professional football team in this great nation, and you are one of them.
Yes.
We're going to get excited.
You going to get excited.
Yeah. This time last year, I saw somebody tweet this out yesterday. I think it was Easton Freeze said, exactly 1 year ago, Titans look to become contender by trading for L'Jarius Sneed. Commanders are tanking by only doing 1 year deals. And look what happened.
Oh, boy.
Hey, boy.
Got to keep your powder dry.
So, but I'm saying that's what gives you hope.
It is.
To always get excited. It's always, hey, why not us?
Sure.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you actually
This
do.
year, it's just a little different because it's not the free agency signings that are making a boom. Maybe it'll be somebody that they draft that will get you excited as a fan. Quarterbacks tend to bring a little more excitement, especially for this franchise, whether you like Cam or Shador or not. Quarterbacks bring a little bit more excitement. But yeah, I do feel like when you have the number 1 overall pick, no matter what, you're going to get excited about it.
It is 30 cities as well. Doug Falling has corrected me on YouTube. There are 30
cities.
NFL cities, obviously, because there are a couple with 2.
Okay,
Ron Slay is here.
Boy, smell gooder than
Handed off
What's your suit today, Slay?
Handed off a
birthday suit.
smoothie. You idiot.
I'm going little charcoal with a little hot pink.
Love the hot
pink today.
pink. I
Okay.
like it.
Hey, man. Ooh, you can stay here. I'll tip you. You roll up them shoulders like that again.
Texas A&M, Texas today.
Slay returning the favor. Didn't
And
you bring
Ole
him a
Miss.
smoothie?
Yeah, absolutely.
In Arkansas in the early session for
He
Ron
didn't give
Slay.
him a 5-star review.
Dang.
He just said, thank you,
shoot.
Savage. And that
By
was
the
all
way,
he
have
had to
we
say.
not talked enough about Elijah Moore? That could why couldn't Elijah Moore come here in the wide receiver room?
Whoever said he couldn't.
I don't know. I just don't know if that name's been as talked about.
I saw Mike Herndon put that out.
Man, everybody gonna hate it anyway. There's only so many people that like. That's why I've realized.
Elijah Moore's fine. I mean, he's just, at this point, you got a lot of wide receiver 4s out there in the market.
Yeah, it's just.
And then a couple of washed up veterans.
Right. But there's just
That's all
not
you got.
enough yet.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Not enough.
I would have probably not enough. I would have probably rather had him than Van Jefferson. just
For
saying.
real?
Yeah.
You can do both.
Van gonna be all right.
2
though.
Ole Miss guys.
I think Van can play the
Whatever
role.
cologne he's wearing, by the way, that he came in yesterday, Slay. I need to get what that is. Because I would wear that.
I can ask him. You
it's
would
like
wear that.
I think it's
like a
unisex. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, that randomly threw me off because it smells so good.
It did
Made you
smell
think of
good.
Elijah Moore.
There it
Maybe.
was.
More of that, please.
Coming up, we're going to play a game of draft, free agency, or both. We're going to go position by position and tell you whether or not the Titans need to address that position in the draft, in free agency, or double dip. Do both of them. Still coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. Listen, y'all know I always brag about them and their foundation repair and waterproofing. You don't have to just listen to me. Matthew and Lafayette said this, man. I went in this process extremely stressed out, feeling like my home was falling apart and going to financially break me. I got multiple quotes from multiple companies. Not only did USS provide a substantially lower quote, but they spoke to me in a way that I can understand the problems that I was experiencing. They didn't try to upsell me or talk me into things I didn't need. Once scheduling got a hold of me, they had workers on the scene within days to repair my home. Listen, y'all, that's what it is with USS, man. When it comes to your foundation repair or waterproofing, whether it be your sidewalks, your driveway, around your house in this foundation, or whether water is flowing into your home, USS is the company that you can trust, man. They've been here, they're local. The people will be at your house promptly, and they just do good work. Matthew said the same thing, man. So if you need foundation repair or waterproofing, man, reach out to the company that I trust at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call them 615-488-7855, United Structural Systems.
RKW is brewed by Scooter's Coffee as we continue in hour number 4 on this fine Thursday morning. 615-737-1045. We're going to play a game of draft, free agency, or both as we go position by position on the roster needs that still remain for your Tennessee Titans. But before we do that, we go next to Mike in Nashville on the phones. Good morning, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm trying to get an understanding on why so many Titans fans are so infatuated with Arch Manning, and we haven't seen him play a full season of football yet. I understand the name, and I just think the last full film that we got of him is high school football. So I would like to see a full season of college football before we get mock draft to him. And secondly, a quick statement. I feel like every team is one quarterback away, no matter how many holes you have. I do believe every NFL team is one quarterback away. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, with Arch Manning, it's a fair argument, but in the time he has played, he has looked very, very good. Mm-hmm. Very, very good. I mean, 68% completion, 939 yards last year, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and people in Austin rave about him. I do not agree with your second point that every team is a quarterback away. See Bears, Chicago. Last year.
Can't see Cincinnati.
Every quarterback.
Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals.
Every team would like to be.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, see 2024 New York Jets.
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't great. What? No. Yeah, he was fine.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud.
The offensive line crushed him, which is why they traded away their best offensive lineman.
And fire their OC.
Nuts, right? Well, apparently that got messy down there with the guy last year.
I would have loved to see what was really going on in those meeting rooms.
No, and by the way, nobody's projecting the Titans to take Arch Manning next year also for the Titans anyway. This is just moving forward to the 2024 draft, the guys that are coming out. We all do this game right here. It's nothing that we're saying or anybody else is definite. One, the Titans got to be that bad again to go pick that high to get one of those guys.
Or not take a quarterback now.
And heck, here I was thinking last year that this season was going to be really good, and it ended up being a number 1 overall pick. You just never know how it's going to go. But if you got the opportunity to get your Joe Burrow or whoever else that you're fascinated over in the draft, you do that. I mean,
there are plenty of good teams, or plenty of bad teams with good quarterbacks who are not good teams. Detroit had Matthew Stafford for a decade.
Oh, my.
And they never did anything with him, and he's always been a very good quarterback.
Seriously, I mean, respectfully, San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers had Phillip Rivers, and they never got anything deep out of that, too. It's what is projections. Is what it is.
I get the point, though.
Yeah, I'm with that.
We all want Jaden Daniels.
Sure.
We all want Cam Ward to be Jaden Daniels.
Get lucky sometimes.
Exactly.
I just don't think he is. I don't think Cam Ward is that level, and I don't think you're going to build a college offense for Cam Ward the same way Washington did for Jaden Daniels. That's not who Brian Callahan is. Now, I believe he can adjust.
And it might not be Brian coaching him in the future either.
Exactly. I believe he can adjust, but you go back and watch those Commanders games last year. They're running tempo. They're running RPOs. They ran a college offense last season. Are you willing to do that just for Cam Ward? Do you believe that much in him?
So I guess the other part of it is, as a fan, as people that cover this game, if they do, I see somebody putting it, just trot Will Levis out there again. Are you hoping for a big career for him, or you want him to suck? Those are questions that have to be answered going into this thing, though, too, because if it's more of the same with a better offensive line, then it might truly just be the quarterback, and he did you a favor by being that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go into this draft, free agency, or both discussion. We're going to go position by position. Look at the Titans' needs they still have remaining. Mm-hmm. Do they need to address these needs in the draft, in free agency, or both? Let's begin with the big one. Quarterback.
Both.
Would you like for them to draft, free agency, or both? Okay, both?
Both for me also. Depending on free agency. No, do both.
There's just nothing really left in free agency either.
Yeah,
so
both is the answer.
Sign a backup, draft Cam Ward is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. At this point.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you signing as the backup?
Who am I signing as the backup?
Exactly.
If you're addressing it in both.
If you're
of the guys that are remaining.
Carson Wentz, period.
To be the backup? Okay.
What do we got?
No. Jameis.
Okay.
I'd rather have Jameis. I'd take Jameis before Carson Wentz. Who else is out there right now, you
Joe
guys?
Flacco is out there.
Okay.
Tyler Huntley is out there.
It's pretty bleak.
Carson Wentz is out there.
Give me Jameis for the leadership part more than anything.
Jameis.
Yeah.
Is
I
my
agree.
pick there.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Vibes guy.
Vibes guy.
Oh, yeah, total vibes
Understands
guy.
it. And again, since we can't get over his 30 and 30, it's just what he is as a
Exactly.
prospect right now,
Yeah.
man. That's just who he is.
Yep.
I do think there needs to be, if they go draft Cam or Shador, there needs to be some veteran presence right there to teach them and show them what these
Yeah.
situations are.
Because
Russell
it's not
won't
going to
do
be
that.
Levis.
Selfishly, I wouldn't blame him. It's not my job to teach you up, young fella.
And
they
I
didn't
wouldn't
help
want
me
him
like
teaching
that,
me up.
and you got a better setting than I have. Quarterbacks are like that too.
Yeah.
And you can now but if you signed someone of the Jameis Winston, personality, like he knows he's here to
knows
help
what he
mentor Cam Ward.
Absolutely.
Like it's not Will Levis's job to do that.
100%. Yeah.
I bring in Teddy Bridgewater too.
Yeah. Teddy's not a bad idea.
I don't think he's playing anymore.
Well,
He's a high school football
did
head
they
coach
bring
in
him
Miami.
out last year?
I think that was
Yeah,
just a
Minnesota
favor.
did,
Just
but
for a
just
thing.
for
Yeah.
the playoff run. Like he's
even know.
not.
I forgot
really an
about
option.
him.
No, or not Minnesota, Detroit,
Detroit.
because it
did,
put
yeah.
Hendon Hooker down the depth chart for the playoff.
Yeah, give me Jameis. That's about the only one out there that's worth bringing in as a backup.
He
and
solidified himself in a role.
coaching. Yeah.
Running back,
Ooh.
draft, free agency, or both.
Ooh.
Free
Draft.
agency.
Free agency because there's
Really?
no
Okay.
reason to waste a draft pick.
There's
Correct.
a lot of depth there, though. In
You're
that
looking for a
spot.
third running back, you can find an undrafted one.
No, facts.
Yeah.
Free agency.
That's what I'm saying,
Whether
yeah.
that's
Can it be
post draft or whether that's a cheap guy right now.
I did see yesterday Julius Chestnut was set to visit with the Seahawks.
Good for Chestnut.
Nice.
So sounds like he is out.
To specify this, when you say free agency, can that then mean undrafted?
Yeah,
for
it's
you?
free agency.
Okay.
Undrafted
So,
free agents.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where I think they'd find one.
Wide receiver.
Draft.
Both.
Okay.
Draft for get somebody specifically who's going to fit your offense. They come in cheaper right now too, and then you get them longer than more than 1 year too. This team needs a restocking of young wide receivers, and they don't have a good one right now.
Yep. No doubt they need a young wide receiver. You go find that in the draft. No matter what happens, maybe, you take them second round or you bulk up some picks and trade up into the third round to get them. I don't know what they do, but they get a wide receiver in the draft. And then I do think you should bring one more guy out there.
I got one more guy I'd like to see, but it's a matter of, and I think it will fit Cam's style of ball, getting the ball out quick, and that would be Tyler Lockett across the
it's
middle.
not bad.
He'd be a guy I think could be a 1 year.
If he'd come
rental.
here for a cheaper amount, yeah, I'm fine with that too.
I just don't love any of the receivers available. Like I just feel like you already have those guys at home. Now that you
Tyler
have
Lockett?
Van Jefferson,
I don't like.
I'm tired of
I don't
paying
know.
old
I don't-
receivers.
I don't like the Van Jefferson.
But this
signing.
is part of the reset.
It's $2.5 million.
It's the
I
only
know,
thing.
but I
He's a
would
wide
rather
receiver
have
4.
one of these other guys.
It's a part of the reset.
Just what we just mentioned, like Elijah Moore or a Tyler. I mean, I don't really love the Van Jefferson signing.
Okay.
I don't know what exactly you're adding some depth.
You got
there,
a feel
but that's
thing about
all.
that.
Of
I don't
all of
know.
them, Elijah Moore is the one I'm probably most okay with, but like you're not really making that room a lot better. You're just adding another body into it. And I know they need bodies, but like I don't know. Maybe
hard,
I'm just too jaded by it. But like
I get it.
I want to draft a wide receiver 2 with one of your first 2 picks.
Yeah, for sure. Draft and sign.
undrafted. So yeah, I guess technically both.
Mm-hmm.
So it's two more offensive picks then in the early rounds.
That's what I'm saying. Like it starts to add up quickly when you only have 8 picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tight end.
Ooh.
At this point, it does feel like the tight end market has already dwindled quite a bit.
Yeah.
Juwan Johnson's not out there.
It's set here too. Is the way I look
Is
at
it?
it. Give me an
I
undrafted free
I
agent.
don't think it is
Undrafted
set.
free agent for me.
Chig and Josh Wiley. I honestly give me an undrafted free agent.
They'll sign someone later.
I want better.
Yeah. You want better? I do too, but
The want and needs right now. I think that's the change.
I'll
in
say
this.
free agency with the picks you have, draft if you traded back. That's the kind of piece you could afford to add if you made a trade back and went with Abdul Carter at 3 or whatever else.
How about one of the 5? They signed like 5 guys last year
they were all
to the
1
team.
years,
Are they
too.
all gone?
I think they were 1 year.
That's the other. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if
Well,
they were all
undrafted guys
gone.
like that, like I imagine David Martin Robinson's still in the building. Odakoya is
They
still
loved
could still
Odakoya.
be brought back. So yes, you still have options there. For
yeah.
sure.
I'd say undrafted free agent or free agent.
Unless, and I hope his family don't take this the wrong way if they'll listen to us, but if Dawson Knox get released in Buffalo, I'd pick him up.
Bring him here any day.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I'm very biased,
That'd be
but
so amazing.
would love that.
If he
Would
got let
absolutely
go
love it.
with the resurgence, I guess with the emergence of their starting quarterback, tight end, who's
Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
I love that.
It is crazy they have both those guys.
Look at
there.
that, me rooting for a Mississippi guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was all Vol here.
I would love that. I think he's a perfect fit. He's a great guy. Can vouch for that personally.
Can play a bigger role here too.
He would
For
be
sure.
an absolutely perfect fit for what the Titans need at the tight end position, and Dawson will block and catch. But again, he's under contract in Buffalo for a couple more years. Let's go tackle, offensive tackle. I'm going to say just undrafted free agent there.
Undrafted free agent. You just need to start doing some depth stuff.
Who's on the doggone roster again still? Undrafted free agent.
MPF is still on the roster.
I'd take a fifth rounder.
now.
No. Give me a fifth rounder.
Okay.
Give me a fifth rounder.
All right, so that's 4 picks you're
round?
taking on
Okay.
offense.
God dang.
I know. He's like, I am all going offense at this point.
All right, so your picks are of our quarterback you're taking,
Quarterback I'm taking.
wide receiver you're taking,
I would love that. Yes.
and then you're taking a tackle. So that's 3 offensive picks. We have 5
we got
picks
5 left. All right, cool.
Yeah.
You said Kayla, draft quarterback.
Draft a receiver.
You getting
So
receiver too?
y'all both said the same.
We're the
thing.
same. All right,
Yeah.
bet.
And I will too, for the sake of argument. I'll
Bet.
say you don't draft a tight end because again, if we're sticking with the 8 picks we have,
Yeah.
we're not drafting a tight end. All right, so that's 3 picks. Interior O line
Free agency.
Yep.
again.
Vet free agent.
No, they already signed but they signed a backup yesterday too.
Okay, yes, they did. I missed that one.
Blake Hance, Bill Callahan product. Essentially, that's your new Daniel Brunskill, 29-year-old who's played for Bill Callahan before.
Yeah.
We're good on
We
that.
can play
I think
multiple
we're fine.
positions.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
we're good in that
drafting
spot.
in
Yeah,
that
undrafted.
spot.
I am drafting a center, is what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
I'm drafting a center. I don't know what Lloyd Cushenberry's coming off of.
That's 4.
Where, Will, do you think you draft the
Late.
center?
I'm drafting a center.
6th round.
I mean, Cooper Mays is probably going to be out there.
That's very true.
Interesting.
Steady, older.
Yep.
No, you can't say that. You're a Vols fan. You can't say that.
Look, I think he is being underrated in the NFL draft process. The guy just goes out there and performs and just plays, and he's tough.
That's wild if he
And
drops
he
that far.
plays through injuries, and he didn't even get invited to the combine.
I know.
Like he's dropped clearly. Like I don't get it.
Georgia's
don't get it.
Georgia center that was at the combine and ran the 4.8. I wonder where he's going to fall. I don't remember seeing him being high rated as it pertains to his position or whatever. I'm trying to find him as I'm talking through this right now. But Jared Wilson.
Yeah, 4.84.
Yeah, 4.84.
That'll get you up draft boards a little
That'll
bit.
get 100%. What they got him projected as? 4th round pick. Will.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd use. I think you're talking more of a 5 or a 6,
Okay.
and
All
it's
right.
a moldable, versatile interior offensive lineman that in a pinch can be a guard or can be a center for you.
Ohio State, Seth McLaughlin, 7th round projection.
Interesting.
Remington Award
Okay.
winner.
That's what I'm saying.
Coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Coming off an injury.
See, and
Off
that
an injury,
actually,
yeah.
like, fine,
That's
okay.
I'm fine with. Yeah, take the risk. Whatever. It's
Fine.
a 7th
That's
round.
what I'm saying.
6th
Right.
round, you know?
I let's just say between interior offensive line, I think you're drafting one guy.
Okay.
So that's half your picks. That's 4 on offense. That's half your picks right there.
And it might have to be that way.
And
Yeah.
look, this is all on
They win
paper. A lot of this
mostly
depends
defense.
on where the value is on the board when you are picking.
Yeah.
So this is a challenging exercise. But again, it's just to say, here are the needs they have left. How do you address them? Edge rusher, both.
Draft and sign.
Yeah, no, both. They need edge help
Yeah.
in a big
Stack it.
way.
Yeah.
Big way.
Both.
Jalen Harrell and
That's
Thomas
5
Rush
picks.
are very high in the depth chart right now.
That's 5
That's
picks.
5. Yep.
D tackle.
Ooh.
That might be the only place where you don't need to add anything else.
Yeah, I think you might be good. on that.
Undrafteds are probably it.
Yeah,
we're
undrafted
good.
free agent, sign him maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside linebacker. I'm signing one. You got enough young inside linebackers to try to mold. I'm not using another pick on them. You got Cedric Gray and James Williams. I know it's a new regime. If you believe in those guys, you would like to just go sign a coverage linebacker is what I would prefer them do.
You need another guy with experience at this point.
Yeah, give me.
I'm with you on that, Will. There
Give
is
me
young
free
development there.
agency on that one for sure.
Yep.
So we're up to 5 picks. Corner.
Free agency.
Free agency.
No. Give me one in the
undrafted free
draft.
agent.
Give me one in the
Undrafted.
draft. I think you need a young guy.
Really?
You still need another one.
That's
yes.
6 picks.
Also
Okay.
on top of that with special teams too.
Safety, yes. Draft.
Both.
Safety draft.
You've already signed
That's
one.
what you really need.
Kicker? Question mark?
I don't
Would you
know if
rather
they're
bring
bringing
back Nick Folk or get a younger guy?
Younger.
Younger.
You got to
I'm
go
be
younger
real
at
with
some
you.
point.
Both. Bring back Nick Folk and get a younger guy.
Ah!
I'm serious.
Drafting one?
No. But
Okay, I was
go
about to
sign a
say.
younger guy.
Yeah, you can sign.
So we got picks to work with there, which allows us to double dip.
Okay.
I want to double dip at wide receiver
Yep.
and or edge rusher.
Yep.
Edge
Ditto.
and wide receiver.
There you go. So there are a lot of needs left. The point of this exercise is there is probably one position where you feel pretty content today, and that's the defensive line.
Yeah.
Tackle. Linebackers could. Inside, off-ball linebackers, you could.
No,
No?
They,
not.
They need
You're not
another.
picking for me, no.
They need another
Because they're
guy.
they're too young?
complement
because right now James Williams or
Yeah.
Cedric Gray or
It's too
Otis
young.
Reese is playing next to Cody Barton.
Yeah, it's
Out
too
of those
young.
guys, I'm putting Otis Reese out there.
with the most
There is-
experience, I think.
Easily.
You know,
Easily. Otis Reese did some good things last
He
year.
did do some good things. If he could stay on the field, his issue was staying on the field last year.
Or is
Right.
Chance Campbell healthy? Coming off another injury. A guy that cannot stay healthy. And unfortunately,
tried.
a lot of that's just really rotten luck.
because he was real good in camp.
He was. And then
Real
he got
good.
hurt the first game of preseason.
Yeah.
He has had some really rotten luck.
Yeah,
Yes. That's not a bad way to build through the draft right there.
You are essentially still going to have to rely on some guys that all of us and all of you would prefer not to rely on. Whether that is Dylan Radin's in a pinch as a backup lineman that you bring back, which I think that ship's probably sailed at this point. I think
Yeah.
he could probably go start somewhere because he started last year and was serviceable. Whether that's one of the former undrafted inside linebackers who you're just going to have to play, like Otis Reese or Chance Campbell. Luke Gifford's already landed elsewhere, so he's out. Interesting. I do think that safety is the really interesting one.
me too.
Xavier Woods has been so healthy. He's going into his 30-year-old age season. Amani Hooker, Mike Brown, and then who?
You need to get younger no matter what at that spot in the future. You have to.
You willing to, he looked good at the Senior Bowl, go center early though too?
No.
Or somebody
No.
versatile? Because Jonah Munheim did look good at the Senior Bowl. I thought he played well.
I'm not in the position to use an early
You need a
pick
receiver or
on
an
that
edge
spot
early
with Cushenberry
if you're
under
gonna
contract.
pick.
That's a
I feel
heavy
like-
price for
Thing
Kush.
is, though,
Yeah.
I do think with Mike Borgonzi, we have to keep everything like that on the table
Yeah.
because he might not view Louis
Yeah.
Cushenberry as a very good player.
It's his guy, right?
He may not, we have to really kind of start over from scratch on,
And he loves
everything.
building that front.
And so what if Kush starts off on pup too?
Right.
That's
And
the
he-
thing that you got to consider.
Right.
So
He
you
could.
want quality there. And what better way to pair if you go get a quarterback and number 1 overall with the center too? And you know Zeitler can take care of him. Peter's been around long enough. They can minimize his mistakes by surrounding those two dudes with a rookie.
You can never take it out of the equation right now. You're right, because everything is new. We don't know exactly what they're thinking.
Just a thought.
Got to throw it all out there.
couple responses on Twitter. I should have had Jawan Jennings at wide receiver on my Tennessee high school football team. It's fair. I accept that criticism.
I just retweeted. Who's your wide receiver?
I have Jalen Ramsey playing two ways, T. Higgins and Calvin Austin III.
Okay.
If we didn't want Jalen to play both ways, then I could
take
throw
Jalen
Jawan out
off
there.
and let that be Jawan.
Put Jawan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Jalen to play both ways.
It's my
no, he
team.
can come in on
See?
packages.
This
for
is how
sure.
I
Borgonzi can do
broadcasted enough
Callahan.
Jalen Ramsey touchdowns in my high school football broadcasting career that, dang it, I want to see more of them.
This is
if
how-
Travis Hunter can do it, why can't Jalen?
See, this is what happens in the draft room right there. Now
Yeah,
Will don't want Cam. Now you want him, Caleb. See what I'm saying? This is what happens. We don't know.
Be
We
careful.
don't know.
Somebody will try to put your head on a spike out in front of the station if you say you don't want Cam Ward.
I don't want
All
Cam.
the
They're just
faceless people on
passionate
social
about
media,
what
they're a
they-
little more than
They
passionate.
want.
It
a
gets
little more-
nasty. I'm gonna be real with you. It
the
is hard. It
discourse
gets
is out of
nasty.
control.
It
The
gets
discourse
nasty.
is out of control.
What happens when you got the first number 1 overall?
But it shouldn't get nasty though.
It's a little out of
It gets a little nasty from time to time.
615-737-1045, the final call for phone calls as we wrap up the show next. Wrapping up the show on RKW, brewed by Scooter's Coffee. SEC tournament, couple hours. Ole Miss taking on Arkansas. Winner of that one will get the Auburn family tomorrow. And Texas A&M is going to be fun today.
Oh, yeah.
Very excited.
Battle of the Texas
I don't
Schools.
expect a lot of Texas and Texas A&M fans to be there.
Oh, no, it's
But I am
Thursday.
excited to
They
watch
should
it.
take time at spring break. Come to Nashville.
They ain't going to be here.
They ain't going to be here?
No.
I'm just saying in the future, make it a trip. Like, this is a great place to come for spring break.
There were maybe like 15 Texas fans there yesterday.
I just figured it's Thursdays, Woo Girl Thursdays in the city. You walk outside around Music Circle or towards the Gulch, like you're gonna see the boots.
If Texas people are in Bridgestone Arena to watch the Longhorns play, respectfully, they just live here.
Yeah, or I
They
mean,
ain't traveling here
or
for
they
that.
want to see if Nashville is better than Austin.
Families would maybe, or diehards. Some fans will. There will be more Kentucky fans than any of those other fan bases that are playing today, and they don't even play till tonight. So
We've been too nice.
To who?
You said Kentucky.
I did say Kentucky.
SEC, we're in a big tournament.
Listen, right now, there's more of us. There's more of them in Nashville than there are of us.
Okay.
We got to be nice. This turns into Meowsic City every year this week.
Meowsic City.
When the Cats take over.
I wonder if we got to. Well, no, screw it. I say I'm going to play Hill. Forget it. Vandy fans are still here, though, too. They're a big crowd.
Well, they live here. They just
didn't win last night.
Not my words.
What was
Somebody
the
will
crowd?
probably say I said those words.
They just kept.
It was a mix. It was general admission last night. It's harder to tell like where. I don't know. Like it totally mix of like different colors and everything.
Yeah.
Still a lot of Kentucky fans. Good amount of Tennessee orange. Georgia was well represented. They had a good amount of fans there last night.
I know they had some kids showing on TV last night. It's like school, leave, go home.
They lost, so I don't know if they'll be back.
They
but,
went back to Athens.
They're out.
Now it's a big Georgia following here too. Like everybody's here. I know we keep saying it. Every fan base is here. It's just kind of cool, man. Like Savage told us, and everybody said it too for the most part. There's some first round draft picks that are playing during the daytime. Like if you want to get in and see these guys before they turn pro or walk across the NBA stage, this ticket I think is a whole lot cheaper. Than trying to go to something else at a professional venue.
That's right.
And a lot more fun.
Yeah, and a lot more fun.
Scotty gets the final call of the morning. What's up, Scotty?
Hey, Ramon, this question is for you. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Who makes the quarterback? Quarterback or the offensive line?
Who makes the quarterback? The balance is the offensive line upholds them to understand what is supposed to happen as it pertains to the quarterback play, but it's also on the quarterback to make sure that he's on his spots and don't manipulate the pocket in a way for them to ruin it. Meaning, a quarterback can make a bad run, escape out of the pocket, and create sacks and bad timing. A quarterback can also be nervous inside of the pocket and try to get rid of the ball, hold on to the ball, or misread stuff. Timing and that relationship is huge, and it takes time to get there, too.
So, do you think the Titans are making the right move by upgrading the offensive line?
100%.
To eliminate the question of how bad the quarterback is?
Yes, I do think that. Are you alluding to Will Levis potentially getting another shot to alleviate that answer? I mean, alleviate that pressure?
Yes, sir. I am. I think the Titans are making all the right moves. Whoever's in the front office, I believe they know how the game's played.
So
they're making changes in the right direction.
Real quick, the only thing is we saw Levis last year, Scott, manipulate the pocket in a bad way, escaping too soon, not holding his feet. It's a fascinating approach. I do know this because it was said yesterday publicly for the first time. God, I know they had a really good relationship with Mason Rudolph. Talked to Mason and talked to Dan also, Dan Moore. Dan was relieved when Kenny Pickett got benched for Mason. You know why? Because he knew where Mason was going to be at.
Yeah, not going to get him exposed.
Not going to get him exposed. It's hard to block for a guy when he is unpredictable with his feet in the pocket.
I think Will Levis brought on a lot of the pressure that he took last year.
Yeah.
Maybe not at the beginning of the season. I don't know. I do think that offensive line was bad to start the year, but they got better, and he was still taking the same amount of sacks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know where you're getting that, Scott. That's a case to be made.
I think it's a fair point.
It is a fair point.
But I think Levis is a lot of the issue with the offensive line. Yeah. We're going to find out, though.
We are going to find out. How soon does some Levis news break, if it does?
It could be months.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to right now, right?
It ain't got to be early.
The challenge is that Cam Ward escapes out of the back of the pocket and gets happy feet and does panic when he gets pressured too. So he's also, like, if he plays a lot this year, growing pains, guys, patience. He would take a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
He would. Even with this better offensive line, because he had a wall at Miami. That offensive line was fantastic.
I watched some tape last night. I was just like, he just dancing. He had time.
Francis Mauigoa lived up to the hype.
Yeah, he
didn't
did. Yeah, he did.
And he's done that. I mean, that's one thing that, like, he's done that. He did that at Washington State. Not a great offensive line as much as Miami's, but yeah, he dances around. I mean, he's not perfect by any means.
There's some Steve McNair in him for sure.
Yep.
Steve McNair did not play right away.
No, he did not.
Back at it tomorrow morning to kick off your Friday. Brent Hubbs will join us. We'll see if we can coerce SEC Network television star Ron Slay to join us for perhaps a conversation or two. Talk a little bit of round ball, some hoops. Tomorrow, Tennessee will play tomorrow, so we'll get you ready for that as well. We will talk to you then. Ramon talks to you right now.
Man, look at Levis getting a little sting behind him right now, good people. Remember, at all times we have that conversation. Your Twitter fingers and your mic is always high.